From now on, we'll manage the house ourselves. You need to find another place to live. My brother and his wife, with my mother's support, want me out, treating me like an obstacle. Do they realize I've been covering the living expenses? It's surprising they'd be so disrespectful. In my head, I decided to take action. I'm Carrie, a 30-year-old woman living with my parents. After college, I tried to make it in the outside world, but found it tough. Initially, I searched for jobs while getting unemployment benefits. Later, I discovered remote work and became a freelance engineer, using my scientific skills. Starting with small projects, I earned modest income but gained valuable experience. Working from home allowed me to make enough money without dealing with people too much, boosting my confidence. I progressed steadily, taking on larger projects, and my income grew. After a year, I earned as much as a regular company employee. The issue is, my parents, especially my old-fashioned mother, struggled to understand my work from home setup, despite my detailed explanations. My father gets it, but my mother fears what she doesn't understand. No matter how many times I emphasized my commitment to my job, my mother would say things like, "How long will you stay home? I initially thought it was for your mental health, but it's been over 2 years. You should try working outside more." Despite my sincere explanations, she didn't quite grasp it. She often suspected my online work, saying, "You're just doing something online." How could I make her understand? Even with emails from clients and my salary statements, she wouldn't accept my lifestyle. She went as far as suggesting, "Isn't it some shady business or a weird religion you're into?" That's not true. I receive regular payments, and it's a reliable job. I explained, but she wouldn't budge, worrying endlessly about the possibility of it being unemployment benefits. I had thought about living on my own, but I hadn't saved enough money yet. Around that time, my father needed nursing care due to deteriorating health. He retired early, facing a sudden loss of income. When I expressed concern, he reassured me, "Oh, Carrie, I've got my pension. I'll make it work." Considering my mother's spending habits, I asked, "Are you sure you can handle it?" Regardless, we had to manage with our savings. My father looked tired, perhaps feeling anxious about the future. He supported me financially through college and even when I returned home due to mental health issues. Is it a good idea to leave my father alone and live on my own? My mother was also puzzled by my father's sudden condition. Wanting to give back, I decided to stay home and support the family. "Don't worry, Dad. I'll take care of things from now on." "Oh, really?" My surprised father questioned. "But I can't imagine you have that much income." "Don't worry, Dad. My current income is stable." To reassure him, I showed my bank account information. Since my father always understood my situation, I believed he would be convinced. "Carrie, I didn't know you were so solid." "Yeah, my income has improved lately. Can you help us out a little?" "Of course, you've done so much for us, so I'll support you from now on." Thank you, Carrie. This commitment led me to cover the living expenses, my father's medical bills, and other costs. Every month, I transferred a set amount to my father's bank account to assist with household expenses, creating a new main card for my mother and giving her a supplementary card, as she had been using my father's credit card. Both my father and I saved money whenever possible, urging my mother to do the same. However, my mother, still suspicious about my support, suggested kicking me out of the house. My father, recognizing my financial contribution, convinced her it would be harder without me. Reluctantly, she agreed to let me live with them. I continued working while helping at home, but my mother took my assistance for granted and became strict. "Can't you finish your chores faster?" "Sorry, it's not easy. I'm working at the same time." "You keep saying that, but is it really that difficult?" My mother didn't understand, and our relationship became increasingly strained. My father understood my efforts, and we lived this way for a year. However, after a year, he fell ill and had to be hospitalized. I visited him daily. "Hey, Dad, how are you today?" "Thank you, Carrie. It doesn't seem to be improving, but I hope it's less of a burden for you." "Don't think that way. Taking care of you wasn't a burden, but I know you and Mom haven't been getting along. After my father's hospitalization, my relationship with my mother worsened. Living with her felt suffocating, but I still wanted to support both my parents as a family. I cherished memories of my mother making my lunchbox and putting effort into dinner when I was a student. However, my perspective changed when my brother Kevin and his wife Mary unexpectedly arrived one day. My mother seemed to have invited them without telling me. My brother announced, "We're going to live here now." I was shocked and asked why. He explained, "Mom was worried. She thought it might be tough for you to live here alone while Dad's not around." Surprised, I turned to my mother, but she avoided eye contact. My brother added, "We'll support you, Carrie." His wife, however, hinted at something more with a smirk. My mother stated, "Thanks, both of you. Carrie, be prepared to contribute. Otherwise, it might be hard for you to stay in this house." The situation with my brother and his wife being invited to our house was unexpected. My brother, with a degree from a prestigious college, worked for a solid company, presumably earning a good salary. However, I was also dedicated to my work. Could they manage without me? A new chapter of living together began. Living with them turned out to be more challenging than I thought. "Carrie, why aren't you up yet? Wake up and make breakfast." My brother's wife yelled, banging on my door. "I'm already up. I'm working early." I was fully awake and in work mode as a morning person. This was my most focused time of the day, and I wanted to spend it without any disturbances. "Really? Then get on with it and get breakfast ready." Do I have to make everything by myself? Our family usually had a relaxed morning, eating when and what we wanted. With my mother and brother's wife at home, I thought it was normal for her to prepare breakfast. She insisted, "We're living together, so we need to cooperate, right?" Reluctantly, I helped prepare breakfast, but they weren't satisfied. "Is this all you made?" "This isn't enough." I had prepared soft scrambled eggs, a lettuce salad, buttered toast, and a juicy sausage, a decent breakfast, I thought. Did I miss something? "If you don't want it, you don't have to eat it." They looked surprised at this response. "What's with that attitude? Who do you think you are? This is unacceptable. You should help with the housework." "But I have work to do too." "Work, really? I can't believe it. What kind of work is that? Are you crazy?" My brother and his wife questioned and scolded me. My brother, influenced by my mother, tended to look down on me and make fun of me. Despite this, my work time was precious. I headed to my room, packed my laptop, and left the house. "Wait, where are you going?" Ignoring my brother's voice, I went straight to my father's hospital room. He looked surprised as I entered. "Carrie, what's wrong? You seem flustered." I explained the situation, and my father expressed surprise. "I didn't know they were." "I'm sorry, Carrie. Don't worry about it. You can choose your own way of life." Feeling lost, I thought about my mother's comfort with Kevin at home. My father reassured me, "You don't need to stay where you're not comfortable. I want you to live happily, so live your life the way you want to." "Thank you, Father." Encouraged by my father, I decided to leave home. When I returned in the evening, a tense scene awaited me. My mother, brother, and sister-in-law looked serious. "Where were you, brother? Weren't you at work? I had to take the day off because of you." "How could you take a day off for such a reason?" Internally, I was surprised at how easily my brother took time off work. Wasn't that too irresponsible? Gradually, my brother and his wife's voices grew more heated. "Get out of here," he declared. "Why?" I asked. "Carrie, from now on, the three of us will live together. If you don't want to stay, please leave. We don't need your overbearing presence to support us." They attempted to kick me out of the house. "Carrie, that's enough. You don't need to be here now that your father is gone." Strangely, my mother echoed my brother and his wife, treating me as a hindrance. Did she comprehend my financial contributions to the family? Despite her monthly purchases of branded goods, what would she do when her allowance was reduced? I felt furious. No matter how many times I explained, my mother, brother, and sister-in-law ignored my story. It was getting unbearable. so I decided to employ a little trick. First, I transferred the money from the bank account linked to my mother's credit card to another account under my management. I hoped this would surprise her when she could no longer use her credit card. Additionally, I moved some funds from my father's account, which had been supporting the family finances similarly. Only my father's medical expenses could be covered from his separate account, unknown to my mother. Consequently, a significant portion of the family's financial responsibility now rested on my brother and his wife. Not knowing the details of my brother's income, I was certain he would now feel the burden more than ever. After completing all the necessary formalities, I packed my belongings and declared, "I'm leaving this place." My mother, brother, and sister-in-law looked surprised at my words. Despite their constant harassment, they didn't anticipate that I would actually take action. But as I observed their expressions, it seemed like they were enjoying the situation. "You're finally leaving. I've never seen such a troublesome person. You won't be coming back, will you?" Their relentless belittling was unbelievable. "Of course not. Don't contact me." They smiled as I left, but what would they think after I departed? Internally, I smiled and embarked on a new life. My new home was peaceful, allowing me to savor my own time and concentrate on my work. As expected, one day I received a call from my brother. "I told you not to contact me. What's wrong?" His voice carried surprise and urgency. "Oh, that? Yes, that's right. Why are you asking now? Why didn't you tell me? We had no idea." "Well, I did mention several times that I was working, but neither you nor Mom believed me, right?" Well, Mom said a lot of things, and I was a little confused, so that's not my fault, right?" "No, it's not. But I'm having a problem with money. Mom's been spending quite a bit, and on top of that, we haven't been able to pay the house utilities and stuff." "Yes, I was able to do it because I was supporting you in so many ways. I'm not home anymore, so you have to do it, Carrie. I need your help to transfer some money to my bank account." "What? I beg you. Can you transfer some money over now?" "You must be joking. You're working for a big company. Isn't that how you make a living?" "Well, actually, I got fired from that company." "What? Why?" "I made a big mistake." "Was that before you moved back to our parents' house?" My brother's reply left me speechless. I guessed correctly. My brother may have come back to my parents' house thinking that there was enough money in the house. He probably thought he would be able to get by with a solid pension coming in after my father retired. I wish to convey to my brother that I played a significant role in supporting the family finances despite appearing idle. The thought of the surprise on his face when he discovered that I was the one maintaining the household finances, assuming they were stable, brought a certain amusement. The same revelation awaited my brother's wife and mother. My brother's wife implored, "We need your help. We're running out of savings." My mother echoed, "Your father is really upset about this. He won't contribute to the household finances anymore. We're in a tough situation. I've supported you enough. You're all healthy, so work hard and support yourselves. I'll cheer you on." A frightened voice came through the phone. "Reflect on your actions. I'm hanging up now. Don't contact me." "But Carrie, wait a minute." I distanced myself from my brother, his wife, and my mother. My father felt unable to return to his life with my mother, seeking legal advice and relocating to a different place. Fortunately, I could visit him daily. A friend updated me on my brother's recent situation. He had moved to a small apartment, living a frugal life. My mother, accustomed to homemaking, struggled with her newfound job. My brother, with his college confidence, found it challenging to adapt to younger staff's opinions in his part-time job, resulting in a short-lived employment. Among them, my brother's wife was the sole provider working diligently to support the family finances. However, it seemed the pressure became too much, and she eventually departed. Now my brother and mother are reportedly working hard together. Despite their efforts, my mother's tendency to overspend persists, and her debts continue to mount. I am concerned for her, but unfortunately, I can no longer offer assistance. I am currently putting in a lot of effort in a comfortable living space. My income is gradually increasing, and I'm contemplating trying something new. I aspire to visit my father daily and spend more time with him to witness his cheerful smile.
I still remember the exact shade of blue in that living room, the way afternoon light filtered through gauzy curtains, casting shadows across Aunt Catherine's perfectly arranged throw pillows, the way my mother's hands trembled as she gripped her teacup, the way my cousin Clara's patent leather shoes gleamed as she crossed and uncrossed her ankles, a smirk playing at the corners of her mouth. I'm Madison, and that was the day I learned that family could steal more than just money. They could steal your future and call it love. Madison, dear, Aunt Catherine's voice dripped honey and poison. We need to discuss your college fund. I was 17, straight-A student, early acceptance to Northwestern. The fund had been building since I was born, my father's life insurance, plus every spare dollar my mother could scrape together. $87,000, not enough for 4 years, but enough to start. What about it? I asked, though my stomach was already clenching. Well, Catherine glanced at my mother, who suddenly found her teacup fascinating. We had to make a difficult decision. Clara's opportunity at La Rosie was too good to pass up. The connections she'll make there. You understand, don't you? The room started spinning. What are you saying? I borrowed your college fund, Catherine said simply, for Clara's finishing school in Switzerland. Clara's smirk widened. She was wearing a pearl necklace I'd never seen before. Borrowed? My voice cracked. When were you planning to tell me? When were you planning to pay it back? Now, Madison, my mother finally spoke, her voice weak, your aunt has always been generous with us. Generous? I stood up so fast my knee hit the coffee table. Tea sloshed over expensive china. That money was mine, Dad's insurance. You're being hysterical, Catherine cut in sharply. This is exactly why we waited to tell you. Clara needed this opportunity. You're smart enough to get scholarships. Or student loans, Clara added helpfully. Lots of people take loans. I turned to my mother, waiting for her to defend me, to say something. Anything. She just stared at her lap. You're jealous, Catherine declared, as if diagnosing a disease. I knew you would be. Clara has certain advantages, natural grace, social intelligence, things that can't be taught in public school. I laughed then, a horrible sound that scared even me. Advantages? Like a stolen education? That's enough, Catherine stood, her face flushed. I won't be accused of theft in my own home, not by an ungrateful child who clearly needs to learn some hard lessons about life. I ran out of that house and didn't stop until my lungs were burning. Later that night, I heard my mother on the phone with Catherine. She'll get over it. Yes, you're right. Just jealousy. They were right about one thing. I did learn some hard lessons. I worked 3 jobs through community college, transferred to a state school, graduated with honours and enough debt to choke on. Every rejection, every double shift, every missed opportunity became fuel. Now, 15 years later, I'm Director of Talent Acquisition at Morton & Price, one of the top marketing firms in Chicago. My office has a view of Lake Michigan. I wear designer suits and make more in bonuses than Aunt Catherine's house is worth. And today, Karma dropped a gift in my inbox. Madison, my assistant Sarah pokes her head in, the applications for the junior executive position are ready for review. Thanks, bring them in. She places the stack on my desk. I flip through them idly until a familiar name stops my heart. Clara Simmons. The same Clara who went to La Rosie. The same Clara who's been floating between jobs at her mother's friends' companies. The same Clara who probably doesn't even remember her cousin Madison. The jealous one, the difficult one, the one who couldn't appreciate the importance of natural grace. I pick up my phone. Sarah, schedule an interview with Clara Simmons for tomorrow morning. First slot. My hand doesn't shake as I pour myself a coffee. The view from my office is particularly beautiful today. I think about that blue living room about borrowed money that was never meant to be returned, about a mother's silence and an aunt's venom. They shouldn't have underestimated the jealous loser. They really shouldn't have. I smile as I open Clara's resume. Time to show my dear cousin exactly what public school taught me about hard lessons. Clara still walks like she owns every room she enters. I watch through my office window as she charms the receptionist, her designer handbag swinging carelessly from her elbow. 15 years, and she hasn't changed a bit. "Miss Holland," Sarah appears at my door. "Your 9 o'clock is here." Give me 2 minutes, then send her in. I adjust my posture, straighten my already straight desk items. The door opens, and there she is. Perfect blonde waves, Chanel suit, that same entitled smile. "Good morning," I say, not rising from my chair. "Please, have a seat." She settles gracefully into the chair across from me, crossing her legs at the ankle, just like that day in the blue living room. "Thank you so much for seeing me. I'm really excited about this opportunity." I let the silence stretch just a beat too long before speaking. "Tell me about your experience." "Well, I graduated from La Rosie. It's a prestigious finishing school in Switzerland, and then completed my business degree at NYU. She leans forward slightly, practiced enthusiasm in her voice. "I've held several positions in marketing and brand management." "Several positions in how many years?" Her smile flickers. "I believe in exploring different opportunities. Each role taught me something valuable." "I see." I glance at her resume. "And these references, they're all family friends?" "They're important business connections," she corrects, a edge creeping into her voice. "My mother has an extensive network." "Ah, yes, Catherine always did know how to network." I watch her face carefully. "Tell me about your biggest professional challenge." Clara launches into a clearly rehearsed story about coordinating a charity gala. I let her talk, noting how she emphasizes the guest list but skims over actual results. "Interesting," I interrupt. "And how did you handle the budget?" "The budget?" "Yes, the financial planning, cost control, ROI metrics, basic business fundamentals." She shifts in her chair. "Well, we had donors, of course, and my mother's friends were very supportive." "So you've never managed your own project budget?" I press. "Never had to make difficult financial decisions?" "I'm a quick learner," she says defensively, "and I have excellent people skills." "People skills?" I stand up and walk to my window. "Like knowing when someone's money might be better spent on your education than their own." "Excuse me?" I turn back to face her. "The position requires strong ethical judgment, Clara. How would you handle a situation where someone's resources were redistributed without their consent?" Her perfectly shaped eyebrows draw together. I'm not sure I understand the question. "No?" I sit on the edge of my desk. "Let me be more specific. If you found out someone had stolen from you, say, a college fund, what would you do?" The colour drains from her face. Slowly, recognition dawns in her eyes. "Madison?" "Hello, Clara." She stands abruptly, her composure cracking. I had no idea it was you. You look so different." Amazing what hard work can do, even without the advantage of Swiss finishing school. "That was years ago," she stammers. "I was just a teenager. Mother said that I was jealous, that I needed to learn hard lessons." I keep my voice perfectly level. "Oh, I learned them." "I didn't know it was your money," she whispers. "Mother said it was a family fund, that she had every right to steal my father's life insurance, to rob me of my education." I smile, and she takes a step back. "Sit down, Clara. The interview isn't over." She sinks back into the chair, her earlier confidence evaporated. "Now," I continue, picking up her resume, "let's talk about these impressive positions you've held, the ones your mother's friends gave you, the ones you didn't earn. Please, she says, I need this job. My last position, dear, it didn't work out. Running out of family friends to employ you? Tears well in her eyes. I'm not the same person I was then. I've grown up. Have you? I lean forward, because from where I'm sitting, you're still living off other people's opportunities, still expecting things to be handed to you. What are you going to do? She asks quietly. I stand and smooth my skirt. That depends entirely on you, Clara. The position requires a 3-month probationary period. Think you can handle earning something for once? She nods quickly, desperately. Good, HR will be in touch. I open my office door. Oh, and Clara, do give my best to Catherine. Tell her the jealous loser says hello. She practically runs from my office. I watch her retreat, her perfect posture finally broken. Sarah appears with a concerned look. Everything okay? She seemed upset. Everything's perfect, I reply, sitting back at my desk. Schedule her for orientation next week, and Sarah, make sure she's assigned to Zara's team. The game is just beginning. You're playing with fire, Gavin says, swirling his whiskey. We're at Cooper's, our usual Friday spot, tucked into a corner booth, away from the after-work crowd. And you know it. I'm giving her a chance, I reply, stabbing at my salad. More than she gave me. Gavin's been my friend since college, since the days when I was juggling classes with waitressing shifts. Now he's head of HR, and probably the only person who knows the full story. A chance to what? Fail spectacularly? He leans forward. Madison, I've known you too long. This isn't about giving chances. You should see her resume. I pull out my phone, showing him the PDF. Look at these references. All Catherine's country club friends, all made-up titles and inflated responsibilities. And you're going to expose her? No. I smile. I'm going to let her expose herself. My phone buzzes, an email from our IT department. I requested access to Clara's previous employment records. What I find makes my smile widen. Remember that Goldman internship I applied for in college, the one that ghosted me after 3 interviews? Gavin nods. The one that would have paid enough for your textbooks that semester. Guess who got it instead? I turn my phone to show him. Clara, and guess who was on the hiring committee? Catherine, Gavin groans, your aunt really is something else. She didn't just take my college fund, she was actively sabotaging me. I drain my wine glass, and Clara knew. She had to have known. So what's your plan? I've assigned her to work under Zara, sweet, brilliant Zara, who worked her way up from the mailroom, who takes no shit and gives no passes. Gavin whistles low. That's cruel. That's karma. I signal for another wine. Clara's never had a real boss, never had real deadlines, never had consequences. And Zara doesn't know about your history? No one does, except you. I pause as the server brings my drink, and I'd like to keep it that way. Your secret's safe, but Madison... He reaches across the table, covers my hand with his. Don't let this consume you. I watched you fight your way up. You're better than revenge. Am I? I pull my hand away. Because some days, revenge feels like the only thing I'm good at. My phone buzzes again. Zara requesting a meeting. Perfect. I should go. I stand, gathering my things. Early meeting tomorrow? Madison, Gavin's voice stops me. Just be careful. Karma works both ways. Back at my apartment, I pore through Clara's employment history. Each job lasted less than a year. Each reference leads back to Catherine's social circle. But there's something else. A pattern of projects started, but never completed, of responsibilities shifted to others. My laptop pings with a new email. From Clara. Dear Madison, I know no apology can make up for what happened, but I want you to know that I truly didn't understand the full situation then. I was young and privileged and blind. I'd like to earn your respect if you'll give me the chance. Clara. I laugh out loud. Earn my respect? After 15 years of coasting on stolen opportunities? I draft my response carefully. Clara, your performance will speak for itself. I suggest focusing on your upcoming project with Zara rather than the past. Madison. The next morning, I meet with Zara in my office. She's sharp, ambitious, everything Clara isn't. I need you to lead the Thompson account rebranding, I tell her, and I want Clara on your team. Zara raises an eyebrow. The new hire? Is she ready for something this big? That's what we're going to find out. I hand her the brief. Full creative control. Just keep me updated on her progress. You're giving a rookie our biggest account? Zara looks skeptical. There's something you're not telling me. I have my reasons, I say smoothly. Consider it a test for both of you. After she leaves, I pull up my personal email. There's a message from my mother, the first in months. Catherine told me Clara's working for you now. Be professional about this, Madison. The past is the past. The past is the past. Easy for them to say when they were the ones who stole my future. I close the email without responding and pull up the Thompson brief. Clara's first real test starts tomorrow. Time to see what she's made of when Daddy's friends aren't there to catch her. My office phone rings. It's Zara again. Yes? Clara just asked if she could work remotely this week. Something about a charity event her mother's hosting. I smile. Some things never change. Tell her no. In fact, tell her she needs to be here an hour early tomorrow. We have work to do. Let the lessons begin. The client meeting is in 45 minutes, Zara announces to her team. Clara, where's the presentation? I watch through the conference room glass as Clara fumbles with her laptop. I'm just finalizing some details. Finalizing? Zara's voice carries that dangerous calm I've come to appreciate. The deck was due yesterday. I know, but I had this concept for a more innovative approach. Show me what you have. Clara projects her screen. Even from my vantage point, I can see it's mostly template slides with placeholder text. 2 weeks of work, and she's produced nothing. This is unacceptable, Zara says flatly. The Thompson account is worth millions. What exactly have you been doing? I've been networking, building relationships. That's what marketing is about, right? I step into the conference room. Is there a problem? Clara's face floods with relief. Madison, I was just explaining my relationship-focused strategy. Where's the market research? I interrupt. The competitive analysis? The actual marketing plan? She glances around desperately. I thought Zara's team would handle the technical details while I focused on the big picture. The big picture? Zara looks ready to explode. You were assigned specific deliverables with deadlines, which you've missed, all of them. I remember missing a deadline once during my waitressing days. The manager had docked my pay and made me work double shifts to make up for it. Clara's never had a double shift in her life. Perhaps, I say carefully, Clara needs a more structured approach. Zara, could you walk her through basic project management? Start with the fundamentals? Clara's face burns red. I have a business degree. Then prove it, Zara snaps, because right now all I see is someone who expects others to do her work. I leave them to it, but 20 minutes later, Zara storms into my office. This isn't working, she declares. She's incompetent, entitled, and she's going to tank this account. Give her time, I say mildly. Some people need to learn the hard way. Learn what? How to do basic work? Zara paces. Yesterday she tried to expense a $200 lunch because, and I quote, networking is part of the job. I hide my smile. How did you handle it? I made her pay it back and sent her our expense policy. Again. Zara stops pacing. Madison, what's really going on here? You're too smart to put a rookie on our biggest account without a reason. I have my reasons. Does it have anything to do with how you started? she asks quietly. Working your way up from nothing? I freeze. What do you mean? I did my research when I started here. You're kind of a legend in the company. The girl who worked as a janitor through college, who never took handouts, who earned everything she has. Zara sits down. Is this some kind of object lesson for Clara? Something like that, I admit carefully. Well, it's working. I told her your story yesterday. Hope you don't mind. The look on her face. Zara shakes her head, like she'd seen a ghost. My stomach tightens. What exactly did you tell her? Just that you worked cleaning offices while getting your degree, that you lived on ramen and determination, that you're proof that privilege isn't a prerequisite for success. Zara stands. I thought it might motivate her. Show her what real work looks like. After she leaves, I sit in silence. Clara knows now, knows exactly who she's dealing with. Part of me wants to call Zara back, tell her everything, but the professional mask stays in place. My phone buzzes, a text from Clara. Can we talk, please? My office, 5 p.m, I reply. She appears exactly at 5, looking less polished than usual. I had no idea about you working as a cleaner. No, you wouldn't have, I say coldly. You were too busy in Switzerland. Madison, Save it. Your presentation to Thompson is in 2 days. I suggest you focus on that instead of ancient history. She doesn't move. How did you do it? Work full-time and study? I didn't have a choice. Someone stole my choices, remember? She flinches. I want to make it right. Then do your job. Actually do it. No shortcuts, no excuses, no running to Mommy's friends when things get hard. After she leaves, I pull up my own presentation from the archives, the one I created while working night shifts, the one that got me my first promotion. I send it to Zara with a note, show her what good looks like, then make her do better. Sometimes the best revenge is forcing someone to earn what they thought they deserved all along. My phone buzzes again, Aunt Catherine's number. I silence it without answering. Let her wonder. Let her worry. The game is changing, but I'm still dealing the cards. The Thompson presentation is a disaster. Clara stumbles through half-baked concepts while our biggest client checks their phones. I watch from the back of the room, letting her sink. Sometimes drowning is the only way to learn how to swim. Thank you for your unique perspective, Thompson's CEO says when she finally finishes. We'll be in touch. Everyone knows what that means. As the client files out, Clara stands frozen at the podium, her hands shaking. Zara shoots me a look that clearly says, I told you so. I'm about to leave when Clara's voice cuts through the emptying room. This is cruel, even for you. Excuse me? I turn slowly. You set me up to fail. Her voice rises. You put me on this account knowing I wasn't ready, because you wanted revenge. Revenge? I laugh. Clara, this is just business. Real business, not the kind your mother's friends pretend to do. Stop it! She slams her laptop shut. I know what you're doing, making me look incompetent, humiliating me in front of clients. You did that all by yourself, I interrupt. I gave you a chance to prove yourself. You proved exactly what I expected, because you wanted me to fail. No, because you never learned to succeed. I step closer, because everything in your life has been handed to you, including my future. The conference room door opens. Zara stands there, eyes wide. I should come back. No, stay, Clara says bitterly. You should hear this. Did you know your boss is only torturing me because my mother used my college fund for my education? Your college fund? I feel something snap inside me. It wasn't yours. It was mine. My father's life insurance. Every penny my mother saved. While your mother was buying you designer clothes, mine was working double shifts to build that fund. Zara gasps softly. Clara's face goes pale. But that's not even the worst part, I continue, ice in my voice. The worst part was how you all treated me afterward. Like I was crazy for being upset. Like I was jealous for wanting what was rightfully mine. I didn't know, Clara whispers. Mother said it was family money, that she had permission. Permission from who? My dead father, my spineless mother. Madison, Zara steps forward. Maybe we should take a break. No. Clara straightens her spine. Let her finish. Let her tell everyone how she's been plotting her revenge all these years, how she hired me just to watch me fail. You think this is about watching you fail? I laugh again, harder this time. Clara, I hired you because I wanted you to finally earn something, to feel what it's like to work for your success instead of having it handed to you. That's not fair. I worked. You've never worked a day in your life. My voice echoes off the glass walls. You've coasted on stolen opportunities and family connections. Well, guess what? In this office, your mother's country club friends can't save you. Clara's phone buzzes. She glances at it, and something changes in her expression. Speaking of mother, she answers, putting it on speaker. Mother, I'm with Madison right now. Clara, darling, Catherine's voice fills the room. I just heard from the Thompsons. What is that cousin of yours playing at? Tell her, Madison, Clara says quietly. Tell her what you're playing at. But I'm frozen, hearing that voice again. That honey-coated, manipulative voice that ruined my life. Hello, Catherine, I manage. A pause. Madison? Well, this is unexpected. I trust you're treating my daughter professionally. As professionally as you treated me when you stole my future. Oh, darling, still holding on to that. It was for the best. Look how well you turned out. Character building, really. Character building? My voice shakes. Is that what we're calling theft now? It wasn't theft, Catherine says smoothly. Your mother agreed it was the right decision. She signed the papers herself. The room starts spinning. What papers? The transfer documents, of course. She signed over the entire fund, said you needed to learn self-reliance. A cruel laugh. I suppose she was right. I look at Clara, at Zara, at my perfectly ordered world crumbling around me. My mother didn't just stay silent. She actively participated in my destruction. Madison? Zara touches my arm. Are you okay? I'm not okay. I'm 17 again, watching my future disappear in a blue living room. But this time, the betrayal cuts deeper. Thank you, Catherine, I say coldly. You've been very informative. I end the call and turn to Clara. Congratulations, you're fired. Madison, get out, both of you. Alone in the conference room, I stare at my reflection in the darkened windows. I thought I was orchestrating the perfect revenge. Instead, I've uncovered an even darker truth. My phone buzzes. A text from my mother. Catherine called. We should talk. Yes, I think we absolutely should. My mother's house looks exactly the same. Same faded curtains, same worn welcome mat, same careful poverty that came after my father died. I stand at the door, key in hand, wondering how many extra shifts she worked to build that fund she so easily signed away. Madison? She opens the door before I can knock. I was hoping you'd come. Were you? I step past her into the house. Like you hoped I'd understand when you gave away my college fund? She sighs, following me to the kitchen. It's not that simple. Then explain it to me. I turn to face her. Explain why you signed those papers, why you let Catherine steal my future. I didn't. She busies herself making tea, hands shaking just like that day in Catherine's living room. Your aunt can be very persuasive. Persuasive enough to make you betray your own daughter. The teacup clatters against the saucer. I thought I was helping you. Catherine said you needed to learn independence, that you were too soft, too sheltered. Sheltered? I laugh harshly. I was working part-time jobs since I was 14, while Clara was getting manicures and shopping sprees. That's exactly why. She turns to me, eyes bright with tears. You were so responsible, so capable. Catherine said Clara needed the advantages more than you did, that you would find a way, that you were stronger. Stop. My voice cuts through her excuses. Just stop. You didn't do this to make me stronger. You did it because you were weak. She flinches. Madison, you let Catherine manipulate you, just like always. You chose her daughter over your own. And then you lied about it for 15 years. I was trying to protect you. From what? Success, opportunities, a future without crushing debt. She sinks into a kitchen chair. From becoming like Clara, entitled, dependent, soft. Well, congratulations. I sit across from her. I'm none of those things. I'm hard as nails. I'm successful. I'm everything you and Catherine said I needed to be. Happy? Are you? She asked quietly. Are you happy, Madison? The question hits me like a slap. I'm surviving, no thanks to you. Catherine called me yesterday, she says, staring into her tea. Said you hired Clara just to torture her. Is that true? I hired her to teach her a lesson, the same lesson you and Catherine decided I needed to learn. And did it help? Did hurting her heal anything? I stand up abruptly. Don't you dare lecture me about hurting people. You and Catherine destroyed my life and called it character building. At least I'm honest about my revenge. You're right. Her voice is barely a whisper. I was weak. I let Catherine convince me it was for the best. I've regretted it every day since. Regret doesn't pay student loans, I snap. It doesn't erase years of struggling, of feeling betrayed by my own mother. No, she agrees, it doesn't. But Madison, don't let this make you like them. Don't let bitterness eat away everything good in you. Everything good in me? I laugh again, that same horrible sound from 15 years ago. You and Catherine killed everything good in me that day. You taught me that family means nothing, that trust is for fools, that the only person I can count on is myself. She starts crying then, silent tears rolling down her cheeks. I'm so sorry. I know it's not enough, but I am so sorry. Keep your apology. I grab my purse. I didn't come here for that. I came to tell you that I know the truth now, all of it, and I'm done with both you and Catherine. Please, she stands reaching for me. Don't go like this. We can fix this. Fix it? I pull away. Some things can't be fixed, Mum. You taught me that too. My phone buzzes. A text from Gavin. Clara's lawyer called. Wrongful termination suit. Need to talk ASAP. Perfect. Just perfect. I have to go, I tell my mother. Work emergency. Madison, wait. She hurries to a drawer, pulls out an envelope. I've been saving. It's not much, but maybe it can start to make things right. I don't take it. Keep your money. I stopped needing your help a long time ago. The drive back to my office is a blur. My phone keeps buzzing. Gavin, Zara, unknown numbers that are probably Clara's lawyers. I ignore them all. In my office, I pull up Clara's termination paperwork. Everything's documented. Her missed deadlines, failed presentation, unprofessional behaviour. I've played this perfectly legal, perfectly cruel, just like Catherine taught me. I catch my reflection in the window, and for a moment I see her there. That same calculated smile, that same cold efficiency. My mother's question echoes. Are you happy, Madison? I close my laptop. No, I'm not happy, but I'm not done either. Time to end this, once and for all. You want to do what? Gavin stares at me like I've lost my mind. Reinstate her, I repeat, but not in her previous role. Entry level, administrative assistant. Let her earn her way up. And the lawsuit? She'll drop it. I hand him my phone, showing Clara's latest message. I don't want to fight. I just want a chance to prove myself. Madison, Gavin leans forward across his desk. Are you sure about this? No, I admit, but I'm sure about one thing. I don't want to become Catherine. The company's annual conference is next week. I'm scheduled to give the keynote speech about leadership and success. Perfect timing. Clara accepts the offer. She shows up Monday morning in a simple black dress, no designer labels in sight. I watch from my office as Zara shows her to a tiny cubicle outside the executive suite. Your first task, I hear Zara say, is organising the conference materials. Every packet needs to be perfect. The week passes. Clara works late every night, double-checking spreadsheets, correcting formatting errors. No complaints, no calls to mommy. I pretend not to notice. Conference day arrives. The ballroom is packed with industry leaders, including the Thompson team. Clara sits in the back, barely visible behind a pillar. I take the stage. Success, I begin, is a funny thing. We think we know what it looks like. Designer suits, corner offices, Swiss finishing schools. A ripple of laughter. But true success isn't about what's handed to you. It's about what you earn. I see Clara shift in her seat. 15 years ago, I was cleaning offices at night to pay for college. My education fund had been redistributed. Family decisions, they called it. Character building. The room goes quiet. I learned some hard lessons about trust, about family, about the difference between being given something and earning it. I pause, finding Clara's eyes in the crowd. But the hardest lesson was this. Revenge might feel like justice, but it turns you into exactly what you're fighting against. Catherine's words echo in my head. Look how well you turned out. Success isn't about destroying others to lift yourself up. It's about rising above what was done to you, about being better than those who hurt you. My voice carries across the silent room. Sometimes the biggest victory is choosing not to become what made you suffer. After the speech, people crowd around, sharing their own stories of struggle and redemption. I notice Clara slip out a side door. Later, at the reception, she finds me by the bar. Thank you, she says quietly, for not destroying me publicly. Karma didn't need help with that. She smiles slightly. No, it didn't. She takes a deep breath. I called Mother yesterday, told her I'm not accepting her help anymore, that I need to do this on my own. And, she cried, said I was being dramatic, that I was throwing away my advantages. Clara sips her water. Funny thing is, for the first time in my life, I feel like I might actually have an advantage, seeing clearly what I don't want to become. Zara appears beside us. Clara, the Thompson team wants to see the new proposal drafts. On it, Clara nods, turning to go. She pauses. Madison, I know it doesn't fix anything, but I truly am sorry for everything. I watch her hurry off, manila folders clutched to her chest, no designer handbag in sight. She's different, Zara observes, actually doing the work, learning. Sometimes the best revenge is forcing someone to grow up, I reply. My phone buzzes. Catherine, I answer it this time. That was quite a speech, she says. Very dramatic, very public. Truth often is. Clara tells me she's working as a secretary now, after all we did to give her advantages. No, I cut her off. After all you stole to give her advantages. There's a difference. You're just like your mother, she sneers. So self-righteous. Actually, I smile into the phone, I'm nothing like her. Or you, and that's the best revenge of all. I hang up as Fernando, our CEO, approaches. Brilliant speech, he says. The Thompson team was impressed. They're staying with us. Want to work directly with you on their rebranding. Thank you, but I'd like to suggest a joint lead on the account. Me and Zara. He raises an eyebrow. And Clara? I watch her across the room, earnestly explaining something to a client. She'll earn her way up. The right way this time. Later, alone in my office, I find a note on my desk. In Clara's handwriting, "You could have destroyed me. Instead, you forced me to grow. I'm learning that's the harder path, for both of us. Thank you for choosing it." I pin it to my wall, a reminder that sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all, it's growth. The envelope from my mother sits unopened on my desk. 3 weeks since our confrontation, and I still can't bring myself to open it. "You should read it," Gavin says, leaning against my office doorframe. "Whatever it is, it can't be worse than imagining." Want to bet? But I pick up the envelope anyway. Inside is a letter and a check. The check makes my heart stop. $87,000. Exactly the amount Catherine took. The letter is short. I've been saving since that day. Every extra shift, every bonus, every penny I could spare. It's not enough to erase what I did, but maybe it's enough to start healing. I miss my daughter. "Mum." My hands shake as I dial her number. "Madison?" she answers on the first ring. "I wasn't sure you'd call." "The money," my voice cracks. "How did you—" "I picked up night shifts at the hospital, worked holidays, did what you had to do back then." She pauses. "I know it's too late, but I needed you to know I never stopped trying to make it right." Something breaks inside me. Not like before, not shattering, but softening. "Have dinner with me," I say suddenly. "Tonight." We meet at the diner where I used to work during college. She's already there, looking smaller than I remember. "I can't accept this." I slide the check across the table. "Please," she pushes it back. "Let me do this one thing right." "Mom," I take a deep breath. "You working yourself to death doesn't fix what happened." "No," she agrees, "but maybe it shows you I finally understand what I did wrong." The waitress brings coffee. My mother stirs hers endlessly, just like she used to. "Catherine called again," she says. "Wanted me to talk to you about Clara." "And?" "I told her to leave you alone, that she'd done enough damage." She looks up. "I should have said that 15 years ago." Before I can respond, the diner door chimes. Clara walks in, stops short when she sees us. "I'm sorry," she starts to back away. "I didn't know." "Stay," I surprise myself saying. "Please." She slides into our booth, looking between us uncertainly. "How's the admin work?" I ask. Humbling," she admits, "but good. Zara's tough but fair. I'm learning more than I ever did in Switzerland." My mother watches us, tears in her eyes. "You two were so close once, before money poisoned everything," Clara finishes. She pulls something from her bag, an old photo. 3 smiling girls at a beach, me, Clara, and Clara's sister. "Found this while cleaning out Mother's study. I remember that day, before college funds and finishing schools, before betrayal became a family tradition." "I got accepted to teaching certification," Clara says quietly. "Starting next semester. No family connections, no borrowed opportunities. Just me." "Teaching?" My mother looks surprised. "What does Catherine think?" "She doesn't know, and for the first time, I don't care." Clara straightens. I'm done living her version of success. I think about the check in my purse, about 15 years of anger, about how revenge didn't feel half as good as watching Clara grow up at last. "Keep the money," I tell my mother. "Put it in a scholarship fund for students who have to clean offices to get through college." "Madison, I mean it." I reach for her hand. "I don't need it anymore. I built my own success. Let it help someone else do the same." Clara stands abruptly. I should go. Zara wants the quarterly reports by morning. As she leaves, my mother squeezes my hand. "You did that. You showed her a better way." Maybe we all needed a better way. Back in my office that night, I find a post-it on my computer. Clara's handwriting. "Thank you for making me earn my place, even if I hated you for it." I smile, adding it to her other note on my wall. My phone buzzes. Catherine. This time I block the number. The city lights twinkle beyond my window. Somewhere out there, Clara's probably still working on those reports. My mother's probably planning that scholarship fund. And me? I'm sitting in an office I earned, surrounded by success I built, finally free of the weight of revenge. I never got my money back, just my power. And something else. Something better than revenge or justice or even success. I got to choose who I became. And I chose not to become Catherine. I chose to become myself instead. That's worth more than $87,000. That's worth everything.
The call came at 3:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. I remember because I was staring at my computer screen, reviewing fertility clinic payment plans for the 1,000th time. My phone lit up with my mother's name, and for a moment I considered letting it go to voicemail. I'm Ingrid, and that call destroyed everything I'd spent 6 years building. Ingrid, thank God you picked up. My mother's voice cracked with panic. It's Hazel. She's in the hospital. They're saying she needs emergency surgery right now. My stomach dropped. Despite our differences, Hazel was still my little sister. What happened? Which hospital? St. Mary's. The doctors found some kind of infection. It's spreading fast and the insurance won't cover the procedure. We need help, sweetie, right now. I pressed my palm against my forehead. How much? 30,000. I know it's a lot, but she could die, Ingrid, please. The number hit me like a physical blow. 30,000. My IVF fund. Every extra shift, every overtime hour, every birthday check from relatives, all of it carefully saved for my last chance at motherhood. Mum, that's my... I know what it is. She cut me off, her voice breaking. But this is your sister's life. You can save again. Please, the doctors are waiting for payment confirmation before they'll proceed. My hands were shaking as I pulled up my banking app. 6 years of hoping, of planning, of doctor's appointments telling me my window was closing. All of it about to vanish with a few taps on my phone. Ingrid. My mother's voice grew sharp. Are you there? I'm transferring it now, I said quietly. Send me the account details. After the transfer, I sat in my silent apartment staring at the confirmation screen. My phone buzzed with a text from my mother. Thank you, sweetie. You saved her. We'll keep you updated. I called the fertility clinic to cancel my upcoming consultation. The receptionist's voice was gentle when I explained. I'm so sorry, Ms. Harrison. Should I note this as a temporary postponement? No, I whispered. Just cancel it. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept checking my phone for updates about Hazel's condition, but nothing came. I called the hospital the next morning. I'm calling about my sister, Hazel Harrison. She was admitted yesterday for emergency surgery. There was a pause. I'm sorry, we have no record of a patient by that name in the last 48 hours. That's impossible. St. Mary's, right? Emergency surgery for an infection? No one by that name, ma'am. Are you sure it was this hospital? I hung up and called 3 other nearby hospitals. Same response. My hands were trembling as I opened Instagram, searching for Hazel's profile. Her last post was from 8 hours ago, a mimosa brunch photo with her friends. She looked perfectly healthy, laughing in designer sunglasses. I scrolled back through her feed. 2 weeks ago, she posted poolside photos from the Four Seasons spa. Sometimes you just need to treat yourself. Self-care. Spa day. Yeah, I'm blessed. The dates aligned perfectly with when my money had disappeared. I called my mother again, straight to voicemail. I texted, tried calling St. Mary's. They have no record of Hazel. Want to explain? 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Finally. Call me later, sweetie. There's been a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding. $30,000 of misunderstanding. I opened my bottom desk drawer and pulled out the folder of fertility paperwork I'd collected over the years. The latest doctor's note was clear. Given patient's age and condition, recommend beginning IVF treatment within next 6 to 8 months for optimal chances of success. My phone buzzed again. A text from Hazel. Hey sis, Mum said you helped me out of a tight spot. You're literally a lifesaver. Dinner soon? My treat. I stared at those cheerful emojis until my vision blurred. 6 years of saving, of hoping, of planning for my future, gone in a single afternoon of lies. My sister was at a spa while I cancelled my last chance at becoming a mother. That's when something inside me shifted. Something hard and cold settled into place where my heart used to be. I opened my laptop and started a new document. At the top, I typed, evidence of fraud. If they wanted to play games with my life savings, fine. But I was done being the quiet, understanding sister. Done being the responsible one who sacrificed everything while Hazel took and took and took. I was going to find out exactly what happened to my money. And then I was going to make sure everyone knew exactly what kind of people my family really were. My phone buzzed again. Mum. Family dinner on Sunday? We need to talk. Yes, I thought. We certainly do. I hadn't planned to find the bank statement. I was just dropping off some old photo albums my mother had asked for, using my emergency key while they were out at their weekly bridge game. The envelope was sitting there on the kitchen counter, torn open, Hazel's name clearly visible through the window. Something made me pause. Maybe it was the casino logo in the corner. My hands trembled as I pulled out the statement. Column after column of withdrawals from Golden Gates Casino and Resort. 25,000 in a single month. The dates lined up perfectly with my emergency transfer. My phone buzzed. Jameson, my oldest friend, still on for coffee? I snapped a photo of the statement and grabbed my keys. 20 minutes later, I was sitting across from him at our usual cafe, sliding my phone across the table. Look at this! His eyes widened as he scrolled. Jesus, Ingrid, is this what I think it is? My sister's gambling away my IVF fund while my parents cover for her? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Have you confronted them? I wrapped my hands around my coffee cup, seeking warmth. I tried. Mum keeps saying there's more to the story. Dad won't even take my calls. What are you going to do? I'm going to find out everything. I pulled out my laptop. Help me. We spent the next 3 hours digging. Public records, social media, anything we could find. Hazel's Instagram told one story. Designer clothes, luxury vacations, champagne brunches. But her public records painted another. 3 maxed out credit cards, 2 personal loans in default, a pending eviction notice. Look at this, Jameson pointed to his screen. She's been posting about her medical recovery to extended family, complete with fake hospital photos. I leaned in. There was my cousin Julia commenting, "So glad you're feeling better. We were all so worried." "They're all in on the lie," I whispered. "Everyone except me." That night, I drove back to my parents' house. They were home this time, and my mother's face fell when she saw me at the door. "Sweetie, now's not a good time." I held up the bank statement. "Want to try telling me the truth?" She glanced behind her, then stepped onto the porch, closing the door. "You don't understand. Hazel's been struggling. With what? A gambling addiction? Or just being a spoiled brat who knows Mommy and Daddy will always bail her out? Lower your voice," she hissed. "The neighbours." "The neighbours what? Might find out your perfect daughter isn't so perfect?" The door opened and my father stepped out. "Ingrid, please, come inside. We can discuss this like adults." Inside, my mother paced while my father sat heavily in his recliner. I remained standing. "Where's my money?" "Gone," my father said quietly. "Hazel needed to pay her gambling debts, I know. What I want to know is why you lied. Why the elaborate story about emergency surgery?" My mother wrung her hands. "We knew you wouldn't understand. You've always been so rigid about money, and Hazel was in real trouble." "And I wasn't? That money was my last chance at having a child." "Don't be dramatic," my mother snapped. "You can always save again. Hazel needed help now." I pulled out my phone and played the voicemail I'd saved. Hazel's voice filled the room. "Mum, I swear this is the last time. Just help me figure out how to get the money, and I'll never gamble again. I promise." The timestamp was 3 days before their emergency call to me. My mother's face went white. My father wouldn't meet my eyes. "You planned this," I said softly. "You knew exactly what you were doing when you called me that day. You knew about her gambling, about the debts, everything. And you decided my future was worth sacrificing to save her. Again." "She's your sister," my father pleaded. "Not anymore." I walked to the door, then turned back. "One more thing. I talked to Julia today. Told her everything. She's going to tell the rest of the family what really happened to my money. No more fake hospital photos. No more lies. My mother lunged forward. You can't! Watch me. Outside, my phone buzzed with a text from Hazel. Mom says you're being difficult about the money thing. Can we talk? I typed back. Sure, let's talk about Golden Gates Casino. Or should we discuss those forged medical documents you've been showing the family? 3 dots appeared, disappeared. Then, please don't do this. But I was already doing it. I had nothing left to lose. They'd taken everything else. Now it was my turn to take something. Their carefully constructed facade of the perfect family. My phone buzzed again. Jameson. You okay? No, I replied. But I will be. Want to help me plan something special for Thanksgiving? Tell me about your relationship with your sister, Dr. Morris said, tapping her pen against her notepad. It was my 3rd therapy session, and I was finally ready to dig deeper. Which version? The one where we're the perfect sisters my mother pretends we are, or the truth? Let's start with the truth. I shifted in the leather chair. 2 days ago, Hazel showed up at my apartment crying, mascara running, the whole show. She does this thing where she makes herself shake, like she's about to fall apart. And how did that make you feel? Nothing. I felt nothing. I smiled, remembering. That's new for me. The session helped, but what really kept me going was my plan. Small steps, carefully chosen. First, I'd messaged Skylar, Hazel's former best friend, with proof of the gambling debts. Thought you should know why she borrowed money from you last year and never paid it back. Skylar's response was immediate. That bitch told me her mum had cancer. The dominoes were falling, one by one. Later that evening, Jameson came over with takeout. He'd been checking in more often since everything happened, and I found myself looking forward to his visits. Your sister called me today, he said, passing me a container of pad thai. I froze. What? Wanted to know if I could talk some sense into you. I told her to lose my number. You didn't have to do that. He looked at me seriously. Yes, I did. What they did to you, it's unforgivable. My phone buzzed. Mother. Hazel's really struggling with what you've been saying about her. Please stop this vendetta. I showed Jameson the text. See what I mean? I'm always the villain in their story. Then write your own story, he said simply. The next day, I ran into Hazel at the grocery store. She was wearing oversized sunglasses, probably to hide her hangover. Ingrid! She rushed over, grabbing my arm. Please, can we talk? I've been trying to reach you. I looked down at her hand until she let go. Okay, talk. Not here. She glanced around nervously. Coffee? 20 minutes later, we sat in a corner booth. Hazel stirred her latte endlessly, not drinking it. I'm sorry, she whispered. I know what I did was wrong, but I was desperate. The casino guys were threatening to tell Mom and Dad everything. So you let them steal my money instead. They didn't steal. You took my IVF fund under false pretenses. That's theft, Hazel, and fraud, given the fake medical documents you created. She paled. How did you... I found everything. The forged hospital papers, the fake photos, the rehearsed calls with Mum planning how to convince me, everything. I'll pay you back, she promised quickly. I just need some time. I laughed, the sound harsh even to my ears. With what money? The new credit card you just opened in Mum's name. Her cup clattered against the saucer. How did you... I have access to everything now, Hazel. Every lie, every scheme, every person you've manipulated. Did you really think I'd just let this go? What do you want from me? Her voice cracked. Nothing. I don't want anything from you ever again. I just wanted you to know that your comfortable little world of lies is about to collapse. Please, she grabbed my hand. I'll get help. Real help this time. Just don't tell everyone. You'll destroy the family. I pulled my hand away. The family was destroyed the moment you and Mom decided my future was worth sacrificing for your gambling debts. That evening, my mother called 6 times. I let each call go to voicemail, then played them for Jameson when he came over. Ingrid, please call me back. Your sister is very upset. Ingrid, this has to stop. Ingrid, why are you being so cruel? Jameson shook his head. They really don't get it, do they? They never will. I showed him my laptop screen. But look what I found. Hazel's been running this scam for years. 3 other relatives, all given different sob stories, all paid out thousands. What are you going to do with that information? I smiled. Save it for Thanksgiving. Mum's already started calling everyone, insisting we all need to be there this year. For healing, she says. Are you sure about this? He looked concerned. Once you do this, there's no going back. There's already no going back. They made sure of that when they stole my future. I closed my laptop. Besides, the truth was always going to come out eventually. I'm just making sure it happens on my terms. My phone buzzed again. Dad this time. Your mother's worried sick. Please stop whatever you're planning. I turned off my phone and looked at Jameson. Want to help me prepare a very special Thanksgiving presentation? He smiled. I thought you'd never ask. The Thanksgiving invitation arrived by mail, handwritten on expensive cream paper. My mother's perfect cursive spelled out her desperation. Family means forgiveness. Please come home for healing. I called Jameson immediately. It's happening. She's invited the whole family. You sure you want to do this? It's going to be nuclear. Already borrowed the projector from work. I paused. You'll still come with me, right? Wouldn't miss it. Someone needs to film the aftermath for Reddit. I laughed, but it died quickly when my phone buzzed. Hazel. Mom says you're coming to Thanksgiving. I knew you'd forgive me. I didn't respond. Let them think they won. Let them believe I'd fallen back in line like always. The next morning, my mother called while I was at work. Sweetie, I'm so glad you're coming. And listen, I've been thinking, Hazel's still having a hard time. Maybe you could help her with just a small loan. Stop right there, I cut her off. You're seriously asking me for more money? Not asking, just suggesting. She's your sister, and family helps family. Like you helped me by stealing my IVF fund. Silence then. That's not fair. We had no choice. There's always a choice, Mom. You just made the wrong one. After hanging up, I called Julia, my cousin. Are you going to Thanksgiving? Wouldn't miss it, especially after what you told me about Hazel's medical emergency. Did you know she pulled the same scam on Uncle Robert last year? Different story, same result. How much? 15,000. Said she needed surgery for endometriosis. I added it to my growing file of evidence. The pattern was clear. Hazel targeted family members, created elaborate medical emergencies, and my parents helped sell the lies. That evening, Jameson came over with dinner and disturbing news. I found something, he said, pulling out his laptop. Remember when Hazel claimed she had those medical documents? Look at this. He showed me a website selling blank hospital forms. In Hazel's browser history, multiple purchases. She didn't just lie, I whispered. She committed actual fraud. There's more. He opened another tab. She's been doing this to friends too. Remember Skylar? Found 3 others who loaned her money for various emergencies. My phone buzzed. Dad. Your mother's planning the seating chart. Says you're bringing a friend. Yes, I texted back. Jameson's coming. Maybe we should talk before Thursday, clear the air. I showed Jameson the text. They're getting nervous. They should be. What you have here, it's not just family drama, it's criminal. I closed his laptop. That's exactly why it needs to come out. They're not going to stop otherwise. The next day, my mother showed up at my office unannounced. We need to talk, she said, sitting down without waiting for an invitation. I'm working. This is more important. Whatever you're planning for Thanksgiving, please don't. Think of your sister's reputation. I looked up from my computer. Like you thought about my future? That's different. You can always try again for a baby later. No, I can't. I pulled out my latest medical report. My doctor says the delay means my chances are now less than 5%. But you didn't bother to ask about that, did you? She pushed the paper away. Hazel needed help. Hazel needed consequences. Instead, you helped her steal from me, lie to everyone, and now you're here trying to protect her again. Because she's fragile. You've always been the strong one. Get out. Ingrid, get out. After she left, I called Jameson. They know something's coming. Mum just tried to stop me. Having second thoughts? I thought about my empty savings account, about the doctor's face when I cancelled my IVF appointment, about years of watching Hazel take and take while I was expected to give and give. No second thoughts. Just make sure your phone is charged for Thursday. This is going to be a Thanksgiving they'll never forget. My phone lit up with a text from Hazel. "Can't wait to see you Thursday. I have a surprise for you." I smiled grimly. "Oh, sister, so do I." That night, I finished organising my evidence into a perfect digital presentation. Bank statements, forged documents, social media lies, voice recordings, all of it arranged for maximum impact. Let them think I was coming to make peace. Let them believe their perfect family facade would stay intact. Thursday couldn't come soon enough. Thanksgiving morning dawned cold and grey, perfect weather for burning bridges. I checked my bag one last time. Laptop, projector, backup drive, and printed copies of everything, just in case. "Ready?" Jameson asked from my doorway. "Almost." I pulled out my phone and checked my latest messages. "Mum, made your favourite apple pie. Everyone's so excited to see you, Hazel." Wearing my cutest outfit to celebrate family healing. "Julia, I'm here early. You won't believe who else Hazel scammed." I grabbed my coat. "Let's go destroy a family gathering." The drive to my parents' house was tense. Holiday traffic gave me too much time to think, but Jameson kept me focused. "Run through the plan again," he said. "Wait until after the main course. People are always more dramatic on full stomachs. Start with the bank statements. Build to the forged documents. End with the voice recordings. Then walk out while everything burns." We pulled up to the house at exactly 2 p.m. Cars lined the street. Seemed like the whole family had shown up for the show. They just didn't know it yet. My mother opened the door before we could knock. "Ingrid!" "And Jameson, so lovely to see you both." Her smile was too bright, too forced. Inside, the house smelled like turkey and tension. Hazel was holding court in the living room, surrounded by aunts and cousins. She jumped up when she saw me. "Sis, you came!" She moved to hug me, but stopped when I stepped back. "Wouldn't miss it," I said, patting my bag. Julia appeared at my elbow. "Need help setting up anything?" she whispered. "After dinner. Keep Hazel drinking. She's always sloppier with her lies when she's tipsy." The next hour was excruciating. Relatives kept trying to orchestrate healing moments between Hazel and me. Uncle Robert, still unaware she'd scammed him too, kept saying how nice it was to see the sisters together again. My father caught me in the hallway. "Whatever you're planning, please don't. Your mother's heart can't take it." Funny how her heart never had trouble taking my money. Dinner was served at 3:30. 16 people around the extended dining table, all passing dishes and making small talk. Hazel dominated the conversation, telling some story about her latest charity work. The irony was thick enough to choke on. My phone buzzed under the table. Jameson. "Projector's ready in the living room. Just say when." Mum stood up, tapping her glass. "Before dessert, I want to say how thankful I am to have everyone here, especially my girls. Family forgiveness is so important." "Speaking of forgiveness," I cut in, standing up, "I have something to share with everyone. In the living room." My mother's face went pale. "Ingrid, please." "It'll just take a few minutes," I smiled. "Hazel, you'll want to be there for this." The family shuffled into the living room, curious and unsuspecting. Hazel perched on the armrest of the sofa, wine glass in hand. My mother kept trying to catch my eye, but I focused on connecting my laptop. The first slide appeared on the wall, a bank statement showing my IVF fund transfer. "So," I said, my voice steady, "let me tell you a story about family, forgiveness, and fraud. Stop this right now." My mother stood up. "Sit down, Mum. Everyone needs to hear this, especially Uncle Robert. Don't you want to know what really happened to your $15,000? The room went silent. Hazel's wine glass slipped from her hand, staining the carpet red. "You see," I continued, clicking to the next slide, "my sister has been running quite the operation. Different stories for different relatives. Sometimes it's emergency surgery. Sometimes it's cancer treatments. Always urgent, always requiring immediate cash." Julia stood up. "She told me she needed money for life-saving antibiotics." "She told me it was for emergency dental surgery." Another cousin added. Hazel started to cry. Right on schedule. "But here's the best part." I clicked again, showing the casino statements. "Want to guess where all that money really went?" "This is private family business," my mother shouted. "No, Mum, fraud isn't private. Neither is theft. Neither is forgery. Right, Hazel? Should we show everyone the fake hospital documents you bought online?" The room erupted. Relatives jumping up, pointing fingers, demanding explanations. My father slumped in his chair, looking ancient. Hazel ran for the bathroom. My phone buzzed again. Jameson. Time for the recordings? But before I could respond, my mother screamed, I'm calling the police! Go ahead, I said calmly. I have copies of everything, including the new credit card Hazel opened in your name last week. Should we talk about identity theft too? The silence that followed was deafening. I looked around the room, at all the shocked faces, the dawning understanding, years of lies unravelling in minutes, and we hadn't even gotten to dessert yet. Play the recordings, I said to Jameson. The room was still reeling from the last revelation, but I wasn't done, not even close. He pressed play, and my mother's voice filled the room. Of course we'll get the money from Ingrid. She's been saving forever. She can start over. Hazel needs this now. Hazel's voice followed. But what if she checks the hospital? Mum. She won't. She trusts us. That's why this will work. My mother lunged for the laptop. Turn it off. Sit down, Julia snapped, blocking her path. We all need to hear this. The recordings continued. Call after call, plotting how to convince me, rehearsing their emergency story, laughing about how I'd always been a soft touch when it comes to family. Uncle Robert stood up, his face red. You told me you needed emergency surgery for a brain tumour. I took out a second mortgage. I can explain. Hazel emerged from the bathroom, mascara streaked down her face. I was desperate. You were gambling. I clicked to the next slide. Here's your player's card history from Golden Gates Casino. Look at those numbers, everyone. Recognise any of them? The exact amounts you all loaned her? Aunt Sarah gasped. The money I gave you for your supposed cancer treatment went straight to the blackjack tables, I finished. Along with my IVF fund. Along with Uncle Robert's second mortgage. Along with... Enough! My father shouted, standing up. This ends now. You're right, Dad. It does end now. But first, I clicked again, let's talk about the credit card fraud. The screen showed a credit card application in my mother's name, with Hazel's email address. Want to explain this, Mom? Or should I? Because the credit card company's fraud department was very interested when I called them yesterday. My mother sank into a chair, all colour draining from her face. You didn't. I did. They're launching a full investigation. Apparently, this isn't the first card Hazel's opened in your name, is it, sister dear? Hazel broke. They were going to break my legs. The casino guys. I owed them so much. Mom knew. She helped me fill out the applications. The room exploded again. Relatives shouting, accusations flying, years of deception unravelling in real time. Julia stood up. I want my money back. All of it. Me too, Uncle Robert growled. There is no money, I said quietly. It's all gone, isn't it, Hazel? She nodded, sobbing. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't pay my mortgage, Uncle Robert snapped. My mother tried one last time. Please, everyone. We can work this out as a family. Family? I laughed. Let me show you what family means to you. I pulled up my medical records. See this? My doctor's final report. Because of the delay in treatment, my chances of successful IVF are now practically zero. You didn't just steal my money, you stole my chance to have a child. We didn't know, my father started. You didn't care to know. You never asked. Just like you never asked Uncle Robert if he could afford that second mortgage, or Aunt Sarah if she needed that retirement money you convinced her to give Hazel. Aunt Sarah stood up, grabbing her purse. I'm calling my lawyer tomorrow. No, please, Hazel begged. I'll find a way to pay everyone back. With what? Julia demanded. More stolen money? More lies? I'm getting help, Hazel whispered. I started seeing a therapist. For anxiety, I cut in. Not for gambling. Another lie to add to the pile. My mother suddenly stood up. Everyone out! This is still my house. Actually, I clicked one final time. Is it? Because I found some interesting documents about your mortgage too. Seems like Hazel's been busy there as well. The silence was absolute. My father's voice shook. What did you do, Hazel? But Hazel was already running up the stairs, her sobs echoing through the house. I started packing up my laptop. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. The truth was served instead of dessert, but I hope it was filling enough. You've destroyed this family, my mother whispered. No, Mom. You and Hazel did that. I just turned on the lights so everyone could see what was really happening in the dark. Jameson appeared at my side, car keys in hand. Ready? I looked around the room one last time, at Uncle Robert calling his lawyer, at Aunt Sarah crying in the corner, at my father, aged 10 years in an hour, staring at nothing. Yeah, I said. I'm ready. As we walked out, Julia followed us. That was incredible. Terrible, but incredible. The truth usually is, I replied. Behind us I could hear my mother's wails, the continued shock and anger of relatives, the sound of a family imploding. But for the first time in months I felt light, free. The truth had cost me my family, but they'd cost me something far more precious first. The aftermath hit social media before we even made it back to my apartment. My phone buzzed constantly with notifications as family members shared their versions of what happened. Look at this, Julia texted. Hazel's posting that you doctored all the evidence. I checked Facebook. Sure enough, there was Hazel's desperate attempt at damage control. Heartbroken that my own sister would create such horrible lies about me, the truth will come out. Jameson read it over my shoulder and snorted. The truth already came out. That's what she's really upset about. My phone rang. Uncle Robert. The police are involved now, he said without preamble. Your mother's trying to claim you hacked their accounts or something, but the fraud department already confirmed everything you showed us. How bad is it? Bad? Your father's talking about divorce. Aunt Sarah's lawyer is filing charges tomorrow, and Hazel, well, seems she's done this to more people than we knew. I sat down heavily on my couch. I'm sorry you all got caught up in this. Don't be. We needed to know, he paused. I wish I'd known before I took out that mortgage. After we hung up, Jameson brought me tea and sat close beside me. The warmth of his shoulder against mine was oddly comforting. You okay? He asked softly. No. Yes. I don't know. I checked my phone again. More messages, more family drama unfolding in real time. I didn't expect it to feel like this. Like what? Empty, satisfied, but hollow. My phone buzzed again. A text from my father. Your mother's not well. She's talking about hurting herself. This is on you. I showed Jameson the message. See? They're still trying to manipulate me. What are you going to do? I typed back. If Mum's threatening self-harm, call 911. I'm not playing these games anymore. 10 minutes later, Julia called. You won't believe this. Your mum's fine. She's at Hazel's place right now, helping her pack. Apparently, they're planning to move in together while this blows over. Of course they are. I wasn't even surprised anymore. How's everyone else doing? Uncle Robert's meeting with the bank tomorrow about his mortgage. Aunt Sarah's lawyer is gathering statements from everyone. And I just found out Hazel scammed my friend Maria last year, told her she needed money for her dog's emergency surgery. There was no dog, was there? Nope. After Julia hung up, I curled into Jameson's side, suddenly exhausted. Tell me I did the right thing. You did the right thing. He wrapped an arm around me. They needed to face consequences. Finally. My phone kept buzzing. I turned it off. What happens now? I asked the quiet room. Now? Jameson shifted to face me. Now you rebuild. Without their toxicity weighing you down. A knock at the door made us both jump. I looked through the peephole and saw my father standing there looking older than I'd ever seen him. I opened the door but didn't invite him in. Your mother's leaving me, he said simply. Says I should have protected Hazel better. Should have stopped you somehow. That's not why you're here. He sagged against the doorframe. No. I'm here to say, I'm sorry. I know it's not enough. I know it doesn't fix anything. But I should have been a better father. To both of you. You're right. It doesn't fix anything. I know. He pulled out an envelope. It's not much, but it's everything I have in my personal savings. For another try at IVF, maybe. I looked at the envelope but didn't take it. Keep it. You'll need it for lawyer fees once the fraud charges hit. He nodded slowly, putting the envelope away. I deserve that. Yes, you do. I started to close the door, then paused. Dad? Get yourself a good lawyer, a separate one from Mom and Hazel. You're going to need it. After he left, Jameson pulled me close again. You're incredible. You know that. I'm tired, I corrected him. I'm just tired. My phone buzzed one final time before dying completely. A text from Hazel. I hope you're happy now that you've ruined everyone's lives. I showed it to Jameson and finally laughed. She still doesn't get it, does she? She ruined her own life. I just made sure everyone knew about it. Outside, the November night was settling in, cold and clear. Somewhere across town, my mother was probably still trying to salvage Hazel's reputation. Uncle Robert was probably still calculating his losses. Aunt Sarah was probably still crying. But here, in my apartment, with Jameson's arm around me, and the truth finally out in the open, I felt something I hadn't expected. Peace. Cold, hard-won peace. The fertility clinic's waiting room felt different this time. Maybe because Jameson was beside me, or maybe because I wasn't carrying the weight of my family's lies anymore. "Ingrid," the nurse called. "Dr. Peters will see you now." In her office, Dr. Peters reviewed my file. "Your previous clinic sent over your records. The delay has impacted your chances, but..." She paused, studying my face. "You already know that." "I do. I just need to know if there's any chance at all." She leaned forward. "A small one. The costs will be higher, the odds lower, but if you're willing to try, I'm willing to help." My phone buzzed. Julia. "Court date is set. They're charging Hazel with multiple counts of fraud. Your mum's still defending her." I switched off my phone. "I want to try." Walking out of the clinic, Jameson squeezed my hand. "You're sure about this?" "About starting over? Yes." I stopped walking. "About you being here for it, only if you're sure." He kissed me softly. "I'm sure." My phone rang again when we got home. Skylar, Hazel's former friend. "Your sister's telling everyone you forged everything," she said without preamble. "But I've been talking to other victims. We found 6 more people she scammed. The police want statements from everyone." "How much?" "Over 200,000 total. Your mum's still claiming you hacked their accounts, but the bank confirmed everything. They're both probably going to be charged." I hung up and found an email from my father's new lawyer requesting a meeting. Delete. Another text from my mother. "Your sister's checking into rehab for the anxiety you caused. I hope you're happy with yourself." Jameson read it over my shoulder and snorted. "Still can't admit it was for gambling." "They never will." I deleted that message too. They'll never admit any of it. In their story, I'll always be the villain who destroyed the family. "You didn't destroy anything," he said firmly. "You just showed everyone what was already broken." My phone lit up again, Uncle Robert this time. "The bank's investigating your mother now too. Found a pattern of suspicious transfers going back years. Did you know about this?" I didn't, but I wasn't surprised. That evening, Julia came over with wine and takeout. Aunt Sarah's lawyer thinks Mom could face serious charges. They found evidence she helped Hazel forge documents for years. Not just for the gambling, for everything. School loans, medical records, all of it. I poured more wine. "Let me guess, she's still claiming I fabricated everything?" "Actually, she's changed her story. Now she's saying she only did it to protect Hazel from predatory lenders. She's trying to spin it as a mother's desperate attempt to save her child. And Dad? Filing for divorce. Finally grew a spine." Julia paused. "He asked about you. Wanted to know if you consider family counselling." I laughed, but there was no humour in it. A little late for that. Later that night, after everyone left, I sat on my balcony with Jameson, watching the city lights. My phone buzzed one last time. A group text from my mother to the entire family. "Since some people are determined to tear this family apart with lies and accusations, I want everyone to know the truth. Everything I did, everything we did, was to protect this family. If Ingrid can't understand a mother's love, that's her choice. But I won't apologise for protecting my children." I showed it to Jameson, then deleted it without responding. Below, the city hummed with life, with possibilities, with futures untethered from toxic pasts. "You know what's funny?" I said, leaning into him. "They really think they lost everything because I exposed the truth. But I lost everything first, my savings, my chance at motherhood, my trust. The difference is I'm building something new. They're just trying to rebuild their lies." He kissed my temple. "So what now?" I thought about Dr. Peters' words, about small chances and new beginnings, about truth and consequences and the cost of both. Now? I smiled, really smiled, for the first time in months. Now I live my life, without their lies weighing me down, without their drama, without their version of family. "Sounds perfect," he said. And sitting there, planning a future that was entirely my own, it finally did.
The call came at 8:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, just as I was finalising the paperwork for my dream condo. Mum's ringtone shattered my concentration, and that familiar knot formed in my stomach. I should have let it go to voicemail. I'm Maeve, and that call changed everything. "Baby, we need you," Mum's voice cracked through tears. "The house. There's water everywhere. The roof just... And your father can't... Please, sweetheart." I pressed my fingers against my temples. "Mum, slow down. What happened? The whole structure is compromised. If we don't fix it now, we could lose everything. The contractor says it's critical." Her sobs grew louder. "We need $89,000 by tomorrow morning, or they'll have to condemn the house." My heart stopped. That number wasn't random. It was exactly what I'd saved for my down payment, down to the last dollar. How did she know? "Mum, that's all my savings. Your sister can't help. You know she's still building her career." Mum's voice hardened slightly. "You're the responsible one, Maeve. You're the only one who can save this family." I glanced at the condo contract on my laptop screen. 2 years of overtime, brown bag lunches, and saying no to every vacation. All for my own place, finally. "Can't you get a loan?" I asked, already knowing the answer. "The bank refused us. Please, baby, we raised you in this house. All your childhood memories." My phone buzzed with a text from Zariah. Mum's crying her eyes out. "Don't be selfish." I closed my eyes, remembering the Christmas mornings, birthday parties, family dinners. Even the spot where Dad taught me to ride a bike was marked by a small dent in the wall. "The contractor needs an answer now," Mum pressed. He's here with us." I heard a male voice in the background saying something about structural integrity. "Okay," I whispered, hating myself already. "I'll transfer the money, but, Mum, I need documentation for everything. This is my entire savings." "Of course, darling. You're saving us. I'll have everything sent to you tomorrow." Her voice brightened instantly. "I'm texting you the account details now." After the transfer, I sat staring at my decimated bank balance. My phone pinged with a string of heart emojis from Mum, followed by a brief "THX sis" from Zariah. The next morning, I drove past my parents' house on my way to work. No contractors, no emergency vehicles, no visible damage. Just Dad's car in the driveway and Mum's prized roses swaying in the spring breeze. Probably working on the inside, I told myself, squashing down the doubt. At the office, my co-worker Chandler noticed my distraction. "You okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." "Just family stuff," I said, trying to smile. "Had to help with some emergency repairs." "That's rough. How much did they need?" "Everything I had." His eyebrows shot up, but before he could respond, my phone buzzed. A DM from Summer, Zariah's best friend. "OMG, girl, your sister is living her best life. So jealous." Attached was a link to Zariah's latest Instagram post. My finger hovered over it, that knot in my stomach turning to ice. One click, and there she was, my baby sister, lounging on a yacht in Capri. Designer sunglasses, champagne in hand, Italian coastline sparkling behind her. The caption read, "Blessed Stugger family, investor, trip, thanks to those who believe in dreams." The post was time-stamped 3 hours ago. The same sister who couldn't help with the emergency house repairs was somehow living it up in Italy. The same sister who texted me about Mum crying was now sipping champagne in the Mediterranean. My hand started shaking as I scrolled through her feed. There it was, a first-class ticket to Rome, posted yesterday, the day before I made the transfer. The office suddenly felt too small, too hot. Chandler's voice seemed far away. "Maeve? You've gone white as a sheet." My phone buzzed again, Mom calling, probably to check if I'd seen the post, to spin some new story. to guilt me into silence. This time I let it go to voicemail, because now I knew there was no water damage, no contractor, no emergency, just a carefully orchestrated plan to fund my sister's European adventure with my life savings. And as I sat there, watching the likes pile up on Zariah's post, something inside me changed. The good daughter, the responsible one, the family saviour. She died in that moment. In her place rose someone else, someone who was done being the family ATM, someone who was ready for war. I spent the next 3 hours scrolling through Zariah's Instagram feed, each post hitting me like a physical blow. Paris, Dubai, designer shopping sprees, all perfectly timed after my emergency transfer. Look at this, I thrust my phone at Chandler. Private jet to Dubai, posted 6 hours after I gave them the money. First class lounge in Paris the next day. Gucci shopping spree in Milan. He whistled low. That's not just a vacation, that's a luxury world tour. $89,000. My voice cracked. My entire future. Call them, Chandler said firmly, also right now. Speaker phone. I dialed Mum's number, hands trembling with rage. She answered on the first ring. Darling, I was just thinking about you. Cut the act, Mum. I saw Zariah's Instagram. A pause. Then, in that practiced, concerned mother voice. Oh, sweetie, don't be dramatic. Everything's under control. Under control? I nearly screamed. You told me the house was falling apart. You said you needed emergency repairs. Well, yes, but we had to make some investment decisions. Investment decisions? You mean funding Zariah's influencer fantasy? Another pause. Your sister has a vision for her future. Sometimes opportunities require quick action. You stole my savings. Borrowed, darling. We borrowed. Family helps family. I looked at Chandler, who was frantically typing on his phone. He turned his screen toward me. He'd pulled up my text history with Mum, highlighting her messages about the emergency repairs and contractor requirements. Put Dad on the phone, I demanded. He's not available right now. Because he's covering for you? Or because he's too ashamed to face what you've done? Maeve Hopkins, Mum's voice turned sharp. I will not be spoken to this way by my own daughter. When you've calmed down... I hung up. My phone immediately lit up with texts from Zariah. OMG, stop being so extra. Just jealous? Stuck in that boring office job? Mum and Dad believe in my dreams unlike you. I blocked her number. We need to go to your bank, Chandler said, grabbing his car keys. Now. At the bank, a sympathetic manager named Tracy pulled up my transaction history. The transfer was marked as a gift, she said, showing me the screen. Not a loan. There's no repayment structure in place. They knew exactly what they were doing, Chandler muttered. But there must be something, I pleaded. They lied about the reason. They claimed it was for emergency repairs. Tracy leaned forward. Do you have any documentation of their claims? Text messages? Emails? Everything, I said, pulling out my phone. Every lie about the contractor, the structural damage, the urgency. Miss Hopkins, Tracy said carefully, what you're describing could constitute fraud by false pretense, especially with documented evidence of the funds being used for unauthorized purposes. My phone buzzed. A text from Summer. Hey girl, Z says you're being weird about her trips, but didn't you know about the family investment plan? She's been planning this influencer tour for months. Months. They'd been planning this for months. I showed the message to Chandler, who was already pulling up something on his phone. Look at this, he said, pointing to a clause in my text conversation with Mom. The contractor requires immediate payment for emergency structural repairs to prevent house condemnation. "That's not just a lie," he said. "That's textbook fraud. They created a false emergency to obtain money under false pretenses." "I can refer you to some legal specialists," Tracy offered, sliding over a business card. "This kind of case? It happens more often than you'd think." I stared at the card, thinking of all the family photos on our walls, the Sunday dinners, the birthday celebrations, all those memories now tainted by this betrayal. My phone lit up again. Dad this time. His first message in hours. "Your mother is very upset. You need to apologize." That was the final straw. "Chandler," I said, my voice steady for the first time all day. "Remember Jolie from college? The one who became a lawyer?" He nodded slowly, a smile spreading across his face. "The one who specializes in financial fraud cases?" "Call her. Tell her it's urgent." I stood up, gathering my documentation. "Tell her I'm ready to sue my entire family." Tracy touched my arm gently. "Are you sure? Family lawsuits can get ugly." I looked at Zariah's latest Instagram story, a video of her toasting with champagne in a private jet. Mum's voice audible in the background laughing about family investments. "They stopped being family," I said, "the moment they decided to steal my future." Chandler was already dialing Jolie's number. "Hey, it's Chandler. Remember Maeve? She needs your help. And trust me, you're going to want to hear this story." "Let me get this straight," Jolie said, spreading documents across her desk. "They claimed emergency house repairs, but the money funded your sister's influencer tour instead." "Every penny," I confirmed. She tapped her pen against a stack of printed Instagram posts. "And they didn't think you'd notice your sister broadcasting the evidence to thousands of followers." "They never thought I'd fight back." Jolie's office became our war room. Chandler brought in his laptop, creating a timeline that cross-referenced every transaction with Zariah's social media posts. "Look at this," he said, pointing to his screen. $12,000 withdrawal the day before the emergency call. Same day, Zariah booked her first-class tickets. "And here," Jolie added, "your mother's text claiming the contractor needed immediate payment. But the bank records show they'd already transferred money to a luxury travel agency." My phone buzzed, a message from my cousin Norman. "You need to see this. Don't tell anyone I showed you." The screenshot he sent made my blood run cold. It was a family group chat I wasn't part of, titled Family Investors. "Mum. Got Maeve to transfer everything, told her the roof was falling in." Zariah. "OMG, Mum, you're literally the best. Can't wait for Dubai." Mum. "Just had to push the right buttons. She always falls for the crying act." Zariah. "Sis is too soft. She'll never get it. Too busy being responsible." "This is perfect," Jolie said, saving the screenshot. "Direct evidence of premeditation and intent to conceive." "There's more," Chandler called out. "Summers, I should have been geotagging every location. The timeline matches perfectly with your parents' bank withdrawals." Jolie started typing rapidly. "We're filing for fraudulent misrepresentation, damages, and asset reclamation. They used emotional manipulation to obtain funds under false pretenses, then misappropriated those funds for unauthorized purposes." "In English?" I asked. "They scammed you, we can prove it, and we're going to take everything back." My phone rang. Mum again. I put it on speaker. "Maeve, this has gone far enough," she said, her voice sickly sweet. "We're family. Families share resources." "Families don't lie and steal," I replied. "Nobody stole anything. We're investing in your sister's future. Her social media presence could make us all rich." Jolie motioned for me to keep her talking. "So there was never any roof damage?" I asked. "Well, no, but..." "And no contractor?" "We had to be creative." "You mean you had to lie?" "Don't twist my words," Mom snapped. "Everything we did was for this family's benefit. Your sister has a real chance at becoming an influencer. Do you know how much money she could make? Do you know how much money you stole?" "Borrowed," Mum's voice rose. And honestly, Maeve, you're being selfish. You always were the difficult one, the party pooper, the one who never supported your sister's dreams. Jolie was frantically taking notes, mouthing, "Keep going." "So the family chat was right?" I asked. "I'm just too soft? Too easy to manipulate?" Dead silence. How do you know about that chat?" "Doesn't matter. What matters is I have proof of everything, the planning, the lies, the real reason you needed my money." "You're making a huge mistake," Mom hissed. "If you do this, you'll regret it." "No, Mom. The only thing I regret is trusting you." I hung up. Within minutes, my phone exploded with messages from family members. "How could you do this to your own mother? You're tearing this family apart. Just let Zariah have her chance." Jolie finished typing and turned her screen toward me. "Preliminary papers are ready. We'll file first thing tomorrow. Once approved, we can freeze their assets and start recovery proceedings." "They'll fight back," I warned. "Let them," she smiled. "We have documented evidence, witness statements, and their own admissions. They never expected you to stand up to them, so they got sloppy." "What's our next move?" Chandler asked. "We hit them where it hurts," Jolie said, reaching for her printer. "Starting with that BMW Zariah bought with Maeve's money." My phone buzzed one last time. Another message from Norman. "They're planning to move money around tonight. Mom's talking about offshore accounts. Better move fast." I looked at Jolie. "How fast can we file?" She was already reaching for her coat. "The judge owes me a favour. Give me an hour." As we left her office, I caught a glimpse of Zariah's latest Instagram story. "Haters gonna hate, can't dim my shine. Soon, little sister. Very soon." The bailiff's heavy knock echoed through my childhood home at exactly 9 a.m. I stood behind him, court papers clutched in my hand, heart pounding but spine straight. Mom opened the door in her designer robe, coffee cup in hand. Her smile froze when she saw me. "What is this?" "Asset freeze and recovery order," the bailiff stated, handing her the documents. "We're here to inventory and tag all items purchased with the disputed funds." Mum's coffee cup clattered to the floor. "Maeve, what have you done?" "Exactly what you taught me, Mum. Being creative." Dad appeared in the hallway, face ashen. "Denise, what's happening? Your daughter," Mum spat, "is attacking her own family." The bailiff stepped past them, nodding to his assistant. "We'll start with the vehicles. The BMW 7 Series is specifically listed in the court order." "You can't take my car!" Zariah's voice shrieked from the top of the stairs. She was wearing silk pajamas that probably cost more than a month's rent. "Daddy, do something!" Dad just stood there looking lost. "Princess, Let them document everything," I said coldly. "The car, the designer clothes, the first-class tickets, every single thing you bought with my money." "I'm having a mental breakdown," Mum announced dramatically, pressing her hand to her forehead. "My own daughter is trying to destroy us. We need to call Dr. Patterson." "Save the performance," I cut in. "The judge has already seen the evidence." "Including your little group chat about manipulating me." Zariah stomped down the stairs. "It was just a joke. God, you're so pathetic. Can't stand seeing me succeed, can you?" "Succeed?" I laughed. "You mean stealing my savings to play celebrity on Instagram?" "Ma'am," the bailiff interrupted, "we need the BMW keys." "This is ridiculous," Mom snapped. "Douglas, call our lawyer." "Your lawyer can contact Ms. Fletcher," I said, using Jolie's formal name. "She has all the documentation." The bailiff's assistant emerged from the garage, found the vehicle, also located several designer purchases with tags still attached, all matching the dates specified in the court order. Zariah burst into tears. "Those are mine. You can't just take them." "Actually, they're mine," I corrected. "Bought with my money, under false pretenses. which makes this theft by deception. You're tearing this family apart, Dad finally exploded. Is this what you want? I met his eyes steadily. You did that the moment you chose to steal from me. The bailiff was methodically photographing items. The BMW, shopping bags full of designer clothes, new electronics. Each item got a numbered tag. This is just temporary, Mum said, but her voice wavered. Once we explained to the judge. Explain what? I interrupted. How you faked a house emergency? How you planned this for months? How you laughed about manipulating me in your group chat? Zariah lunged for her car keys, but the bailiff blocked her path. Mum, interfering with a court order is a criminal offence. Criminal? Mum went pale. No, this is a family matter. Not anymore, I said quietly. You made it legal when you committed fraud. The bailiff's assistant appeared with a stack of receipts found in Zariah's room. These match the transaction records provided to the court. Luxury purchases made within hours of receiving the transferred funds. Mom tried one last time. Sweetheart, please. We can work this out privately, as a family. Family? I gestured around the room. Look what you did to our family. All for what? Instagram likes? Designer bags? Was it worth it? Zariah slumped against the wall, mascara running. You've ruined everything. No, I replied. You did that yourself. Every posted photo, every bragging caption, every lie. The bailiff finished his inventory. All documented items are now under court order. Nothing is to be sold, transferred, or removed from the premises until further notice. As we turned to leave, Dad grabbed my arm. You'll regret this. Family is forever. I pulled away. No, Dad, family is a choice, and you all made yours. Walking down the driveway, I heard Mom's wails and Zariah's sobs. The sound should have hurt, should have made me feel guilty. Instead, I felt lighter with each step. Then my phone buzzed. A message from Jolie. Found something interesting. Your mum moved 20K into an offshore account yesterday, under Chandler's name. She's playing dirtier than we thought. I looked back at the house one last time. Through the window, I could see Mom already on the phone, probably calling in favours, trying to spin this her way. She didn't realise yet. This was just the beginning. The bailiff nodded as he got into his car. Good luck, miss. Family cases are never easy. No, I agreed, watching Zariah's precious BMW being tagged for repossession. But neither is stealing from your daughter. I got into my car, ignoring the stream of texts lighting up my phone. They thought they could manipulate me forever, use me as their personal bank. Time to show them just how wrong they were. Found it, Chandler announced, spreading printouts across my kitchen table. Your parents started planning this back in January. Look at these Google Calendar entries. I leaned in to read. Z's influencer launch. Budget meeting, dated 3 months before they asked for my money. There's more, he continued. Fake contractor letterhead, forged inspection reports, even staged photos of water damage they never used. My hand shook as I sifted through the evidence. How did you get all this? Norman helped. He's been backing up their shared drive for years, when he saw what they did to you. Chandler shrugged. Let's just say he had a crisis of conscience. A memory hit me suddenly. My 10th birthday. Wait here, I told Chandler, rushing to my closet. I returned with an old shoebox full of birthday cards. Look at this, I said, pulling out a card from Grandma Rose. She always sent me $100 for my birthday, but every year the money disappeared before I could spend it. Chandler frowned. You think? Mum always said I must have lost it, but now... I pulled up my phone, scrolling through old family photos. Here, every summer after my birthday, Zariah mysteriously had money for dance camp. My phone buzzed. A video call from Jolie. You need to see this, she said without preamble. We subpoenaed their bank records. Your mum's been running this game for years. She shared her screen, showing transaction after transaction. She'd guilt you into lending money, then funnel it to Zariah. College textbooks that never existed. Car repairs that never happened. Even that emergency dental work last year. Let me guess. Zariah's lip fillers? Bingo. A knock at my door made us all jump. Through the peephole, I saw Mum standing there, tears streaming down her face. Don't answer it, Chandler warned. Please, Maeve, Mum called through the door. I just want to talk. I hit record on my phone before opening the door. How dare you, Mum hissed, mask dropping instantly. You want to destroy your own family over money? You mean my life savings that you stole? We had a plan. She stepped closer, jabbing her finger at me. Zariah's going to be famous. She'll make connections, open doors for all of us. But you're too selfish to see the big picture. The big picture? I laughed bitterly. Like when you stole my birthday money for her dance camps. Mum froze. You remember that? I remember everything, Mum. Every lie, every manipulation, every time you picked her over me. She's special. Mum's voice rose hysterically. She has star quality. You're just what? The responsible one, the backup plan, the family ATM? You'll regret this, she snarled. When Zariah's famous, when we're all living the high life, you'll be sorry you turned against us. Mom, Chandler called from behind me, you're being recorded. Mum's eyes widened as she noticed my phone. Without another word, she turned and fled. You okay? Chandler asked softly. I nodded, though my hands were shaking. Send that recording to Jolie. My phone lit up with a message from Norman. Found something else. Old videos from family meetings. They were coaching Zariah on how to manipulate you, teaching her your weak spots. The attached video showed Mom, Dad, and Zariah sitting at our dining room table. Remember, Mum was saying, Maeve can't resist when we cry. She hates disappointing family. Use that. Zariah nodded, practicing her fake tears. Like this? Perfect. Now, mention how hard you're working on your dreams. I couldn't watch anymore. Maeve, Jolie's voice came through the speaker. We have enough, more than enough. Want me to schedule the final hearing? Do it. They'll try to paint you as the villain, Chandler warned. The jealous sister trying to ruin Zariah's chances at fame. Let them try. I looked at the mountain of evidence on my table. Years of calculated manipulation. Decades of lies. The truth has receipts. My phone buzzed again. Dad, this time. Your mother's crying herself sick. Is this what you wanted? To destroy our family? I thought of all the times I cried myself to sleep, believing I'd lost birthday money, believing I wasn't as special as Zariah, believing I had to prove my love through sacrifice. No, Dad, I typed back. I wanted a family that loved me as much as I loved them. Guess we both ended up disappointed. I blocked his number and turned to Chandler and Jolie's concerned faces on my screen. Schedule the hearing, I said firmly. It's time everyone saw who they really are. The courtroom fell silent as Jolie approached the witness stand where Mum sat, perfectly coiffed and dabbing at invisible tears. Mrs. Hopkins, Jolie began, please explain the emergency roof repairs you claimed required $89,000. Our contractor said, What contractor? Jolie interrupted. Because we've subpoenaed every licensed contractor in the area. None had any contact with your family. Mum's fingers tightened around her tissue. Well, he was independent. Independent? Jolie picked up a document. Like this fake inspection report you created? The one with a forged license number? Colour drained from Mum's face. Or perhaps, Jolie continued, you'd like to explain these travel bookings? Made the day before you called my client about your emergency? We had to act quickly, Mum stammered. Opportunities? Opportunities like your daughter's influencer tour? First-class flights, luxury hotels, designer shopping sprees, all paid for with fraudulently obtained funds? Objection, their lawyer called out. Argumentative. Sustained, the judge said. Rephrase. Jolie nodded. Mrs. Hopkins, did you use the money for house repairs as claimed? We had other priorities. Like funding your younger daughter's Instagram career? Zariah has potential, Mum burst out. Sometimes parents have to make hard choices. Choices like stealing from their other daughter? Objection. Withdrawn, Jolie said smoothly. No further questions. Dad testified next, crumbling under cross-examination. Did you know the roof repairs were fictional? Jolie asked. I trusted my wife's judgment. Even when that judgment involved defrauding your daughter. He looked at his hands. Denise handles the finances, so you just stood by while she stole your daughter's life savings? Dad's voice cracked. I didn't know how much... The truth, Mr. Hopkins. Did you know there was no emergency? A long pause. Yes. And did you know the money was for Zariah's travel? Another pause. Yes. Why didn't you stop it? He looked at Mom, then back at his hands. Because Denise said it was the only way. That Maeve would never just give us the money for Zariah's influencer career, the courtroom murmured. Mum shot him a venomous look. Then came Zariah's testimony. Like, I don't see what the big deal is, she said, examining her manicure. Family is supposed to support each other. Support? Jolie raised an eyebrow. Like this group chat where you mocked your sister for being too soft, where you planned how to manipulate her. That was just jokes. Jokes that cost your sister 89,000 toddlers? Zariah's carefully constructed facade cracked. She's just jealous. She always has been. Everyone knows I'm the one with real potential. She's just what? Just boring, working her stupid office job, saving her stupid money. I'm going to be famous. Zariah was shouting now. Mum and Dad saw that. They knew who to bet on. The judge leaned forward. Miss Hopkins, are you admitting you knowingly participated in defrauding your sister? Zariah's eyes widened as she realised what she said. That's not... And these receipts, Jolie continued, where you forged income documents to obtain additional credit lines using the fraudulently obtained funds. Objection! Their lawyer jumped up. This ventures into criminal territory. Exactly, Jolie smiled. Your Honour, we've submitted evidence of multiple instances of fraud, including document forgery and false financial statements. Summer's testimony was the final nail. Oh my God, they totally planned it for months, she gushed. Mrs. H was like bragging about it at the spa. How they were going to use Maeve's savings to launch Zariah's influencer career. She said Maeve was their personal piggy bank. The judge had heard enough. Given the overwhelming evidence of fraud and financial misconduct, I'm issuing an immediate freeze on all family accounts and assets pending final judgment. Additionally, I'm referring this case to the District Attorney's Office for potential criminal charges. Mum collapsed in theatrical sobs. Dad stared blankly ahead. Zariah stormed out, already typing furiously on her phone. Furthermore, the judge continued, I'm placing temporary liens on all property purchased with the fraudulently obtained funds, including vehicles, jewellery, and designer goods. I felt Chandler squeeze my hand as Mum wailed, You're destroying our family. No, Mrs. Hopkins, the judge said sternly. You did that yourself. Court is adjourned until tomorrow's final judgment. Outside the courtroom, reporters had gathered. Someone had tipped them off about the fraudulent family case. Maeve, Jolie said quietly, Tomorrow we'll get the final verdict. Are you ready? I watched Mum being comforted by her friends, Dad standing alone by the window, and Zariah crying to her Instagram followers about family betrayal. Ready? I smiled grimly. I've been ready my whole life. In the matter of Hopkins versus Hopkins, the judge began, this court finds in favour of the plaintiff. The courtroom erupted in whispers. Mum gripped Dad's arm so hard her knuckles went white. The defendants are ordered to repay the full amount of $89,000, plus $50,000 in punitive damages. Additionally, given the evidence of long-term financial abuse and manipulation, I am ordering an additional $25,000 for emotional distress. Zariah's designer purse hit the floor with a thud. Furthermore, the judge continued, all assets purchased with the fraudulently obtained funds are to be liquidated immediately, with proceeds going to the plaintiff. This includes, but is not limited to, the BMW 7 Series, all designer merchandise, and any remaining travel bookings. But my followers, Zariah wailed, my brand. Silence, the judge warned. Miss Hopkins, your social media career does not supersede laws against fraud. Mum stood up, swaying dramatically. Your Honour, please, we're her parents. We only wanted... Mrs. Hopkins, the judge cut in, you systematically defrauded your own daughter. The evidence shows years of financial manipulation and emotional abuse. This court cannot ignore such calculated misconduct. Jolie was already typing on her tablet, initiating asset recovery procedures. Chandler squeezed my shoulder supportively. The criminal investigation will proceed separately, the judge added. I suggest you will retain criminal defence attorneys. The local news reporter in the back scribbled frantically. Tomorrow's headline practically wrote itself, Social media dreams shatter as family fraud scheme exposed. Outside the courthouse, Mum made one last attempt. She grabbed my arm as I walked past, tears streaming down her expertly made-up face. Please, she begged, we're still your family. We can fix this. I pulled away. Fix what, Mum? The years of stealing my birthday money? The manipulation? The lies? We did it because we love you. No, I said quietly. You did it because you thought I'd never fight back. Your sister's influencer career is ruined, she hissed. Are you happy now? Actually, yes, I smiled coldly. Almost as happy as you were when you stole my savings. Zariah stormed up, mascara running. I had to delete all my social media. My followers think I'm a fraud. You are a fraud, I replied. You just got caught. This isn't fair, she screamed. Those things were mine. They were bought with my money, I corrected, and now they're being sold to pay me back. Dad approached last, looking older than I'd ever seen him. Princess, he started, don't. I held up my hand. You stood by and watched them steal from me. You're just as guilty. We're your parents, he pleaded. Family means forgiveness. Family means love, I countered. Real love, not manipulation. Not theft, not lies. Reporters swarmed around us, shoving microphones forward. Mrs. Hopkins, how do you respond to allegations of long-term financial abuse? Zariah, what happens to your influencer career now? Maeve, how does it feel to expose your family's fraud? Jolie stepped in, shielding me. My client has no comment. The court's decision speaks for itself. As we walked away, I heard Mum's voice rise hysterically. She's destroying us! Her own family! I turned back one last time. You stopped being my family when you sold me out for Prada. Chandler was waiting by his car. Ready to go sign those condo papers? I nodded, feeling lighter than I had in years. My phone buzzed with a text from Norman. You did it. They needed this wake-up call. I'm sorry I didn't speak up sooner. The local news van pulled away, no doubt racing to broadcast the story of the Instagram-obsessed family who committed fraud for followers. Mum's social circle would implode. Zariah's influencer dreams were dead. Dad's business associates would distance themselves. But I felt no satisfaction in their downfall, only relief that the truth was finally out. Jolie caught up with us, waving a document. Just got confirmation. The first asset liquidation payment will hit your account tomorrow. Ready to buy that condo? More than ready. My phone lit up with messages from Mum's friends. How could you do this to your own mother? Family matters should stay private. You've ruined their reputation. I blocked them all, one by one. You okay? Chandler asked softly. I looked at the courthouse steps where my family still stood, their carefully constructed facade finally crumbling. Yeah, I said. For the first time in my life, I really am. We drove away, leaving behind the wreckage of lies, the ruins of manipulation, and the ashes of what once was family. Tomorrow, I'd sign the papers for my dream condo. Tonight, I'd sleep knowing I'd finally stood up for myself. And that was worth more than all the Instagram followers in the world. The sound of my keys jingling in my new condo's lock still brought a smile to my face. Inside, the space was modest, but mine. Every piece of furniture carefully chosen, every wall painted the exact shade I wanted. My phone buzzed with a news alert. Local influencer scandal. Sister's revenge exposes family fraud. Below was a picture of Zariah, caught mid-meltdown outside the courthouse. A knock at the door made me jump. Through the peephole, I saw Norman shifting nervously. Hey, he said when I opened the door. Nice place. Thanks. Want to come in? He followed me to the kitchen where I was unpacking dishes. Aunt Denise and Uncle Douglas are selling their house, he said quietly. The criminal charges. I heard. The DA had filed multiple fraud charges. Mum's perfect reputation was in shambles. Zariah's working at a call centre now, Norman continued. No one will sponsor her after everything. I placed a mug in the cabinet. That's not my problem. I know, He pulled out an envelope. I wanted to give you this, and apologise for not speaking up sooner. Inside was a birthday card. Tucked within, 5 crisp 100 bills. From all those birthday, he explained. I saw Aunt Denise take your money every year. I should have said something. Norman. No, let me finish. What they did to you, it wasn't just about the money. They tried to make you feel crazy for questioning them. Less than. I watched it happen and said nothing. I leaned against the counter. You helped in the end. That group chat screenshot broke their whole story. Still, he looked around my new home. You deserved better. We all knew it. My phone buzzed again. Chandler. Turn on channel 7. I grabbed the remote, Norman following me to the living room. There on screen was Mom, being led out of her yoga studio in handcuffs. Additional charges filed today, the reporter announced, as investigators uncovered a pattern of financial fraud extending beyond the family. Norman whistled low. Guess she wasn't just stealing from you. Guess not. Another knock. This time Jolie and Chandler, carrying takeout and wine. Housewarming? Chandler grinned, holding up the bags. We brought the good stuff, Jolie added, waving the wine bottle. You deserve it. As they set up dinner on my new coffee table, my phone lit up with a text from Dad. Your mother's been arrested. Please, we need help with bail. I showed it to the others. Delete it, Jolie advised. Block him, Chandler suggested. Instead, I typed, like Zariah said in the group chat, I'm too soft, remember? Guess she was wrong. Norman raised his wine glass. To karma. To boundaries, Jolie added. To finally standing up for yourself, Chandler finished. I looked around my modest living room. No designer furniture, no Instagram-worthy decor. Just comfortable, practical pieces that made me happy. On the TV, the news showed Zariah's old Instagram posts side by side with security footage of Mum doctoring financial documents. "You know what's funny?" I said. "They really thought appearances were everything. The perfect family, the social media fame, the designer lifestyle." "And now?" Norman asked. "Now they have nothing, because it was all built on lies." My phone buzzed one last time. An email from Summer. "Hey, so, I know we're not friends anymore, but I wanted to say I'm sorry. I should have told you what they were planning. Zariah wasn't the friend I thought she was." Jolie topped off my wine. "You going to respond?" "No need." I silenced my phone. I'm done explaining myself to any of them. We ate dinner, sitting on my new floor cushions, laughing at Chandler's terrible jokes and listening to Jolie's courtroom stories. Norman shared more family secrets, each one confirming I'd made the right choice. Later, after everyone left, I stood at my window looking out at the city lights. My city. My view. My life. The TV still played softly in the background. In local news, the Hopkins family fraud case has sparked a broader investigation into social media-related financial crimes. I turned it off. Their story wasn't mine anymore. On my coffee table sat Norman's birthday card. $500. A small fraction of what they'd stolen, but it meant something different. It meant someone in my family had seen the truth all along. My new neighbours. Wind chimes tinkled softly outside. In my kitchen, my own dishes waited to be unpacked. On my walls, space waited for photos of new memories. Better memories. They never expected me to fight back. They never expected me to win. But karma arrives, and sometimes she wears courtroom heels.
The last person to leave after Dad's funeral was the first to tell me I needed to get out of his house. I stood in our kitchen, my childhood kitchen, watching Paisley adjust her designer black dress in the reflection of the microwave door. The same microwave where Dad and I used to heat up midnight snacks when I couldn't sleep. My name is Quinn, and I'd spent the last week crying. But now, staring at my stepmother's perfectly made-up face, I felt nothing but ice in my veins. "Darling!" Paisley's voice dripped with fake sympathy. "I know this is difficult, but the will is quite clear. The house goes to me and my children. You'll need to be out by tomorrow evening." I gripped the counter. "Tomorrow? Dad's body isn't even cold." "Don't be crude." Felicity, my stepsister, sauntered in with a glass of wine. At 25, she'd already mastered her mother's condescending smile. "We're being generous, giving you 24 hours. Legally, we could make you leave now." The kitchen filled with the click-clack of more heels. Josephine, the youngest, lurked in the doorway, while Gerard leaned against the fridge, refusing to meet my eyes. "Show her the will, Mother," Felicity prompted, clearly enjoying the moment. Paisley produced a document from her designer purse, sliding it across the granite countertop. I recognised Dad's signature immediately, but the date made my stomach turn. 3 months ago, when he was already sick, when Paisley barely let me see him. "As you can see," Paisley pointed to a paragraph with her manicured nail, "the house and most assets transfer to me and my children. There's a small trust fund for you, of course. Your father wasn't completely heartless." "Heartless?" My voice cracked. "He was my father." "For 17 years, Felicity cut in. "Then he was our father for 15. Quality over quantity, right?" Gerard shifted uncomfortably. "Fel, maybe we could give her a few days." Absolutely not," Paisley snapped. "The decision is final. Quinn needs to start her own life, away from here." I looked around the kitchen, at the marks on the doorframe where Dad had measured my height every birthday until I was 16, at the dent in the cabinet from when I'd tried to make him breakfast in bed and dropped the pan, at the window where we'd watched thunderstorms together. "I'll need time to pack," I managed. "We'll have someone pack for you," Paisley said. "Just take your essentials. We'll ship the rest to whatever address you provide." Josephine stepped forward, her voice small. "Quinn, I saved you some of the photo albums." "Josie," Paisley warned, and the girl retreated. I stood there, surrounded by the family that had invaded mine, feeling like I was drowning. "Can I at least sleep here tonight?" Paisley's lips tightened. "Fine, one last night, but I want you gone by 6 tomorrow evening. We're having the interior decorator over to discuss renovations." Renovations? The word felt like acid. Dad loved this house exactly as it is. "Dad's not here anymore," Felicity said, taking another sip of wine. "And thank God, do you know how embarrassing these outdated curtains were?" Something in me snapped. I lunged forward, but Gerard caught my arm. "Don't!" he whispered. "It'll only make things worse." I jerked away from him, my voice steady despite the rage burning through me. "You're right. I'll be gone tomorrow." As I turned to leave, Paisley called out, "Oh, and Quinn, don't get any ideas about taking things that aren't yours. We've photographed every room." I climbed the stairs to my old bedroom, each step feeling heavier than the last. Through the walls, I could hear them laughing downstairs, probably already planning which rooms they'd claim. Sitting on my bed, I pulled out my phone and called Julian, my oldest friend. "They're kicking me out," I whispered when he answered. "What? They can't do that. It's your dad's house." "Apparently they can. There's a will." "That doesn't sound like your dad," Julian said. "He wouldn't—" His words triggered something in my memory. A conversation from months ago, before Dad got really sick. We'd been in his study, and he'd said something odd. "If anything ever happens to me, check the safe behind the bookshelf. Not everything will be in plain sight." I sat up straight, my heart pounding. "Julian, I need to go. But tomorrow I might need your help." Hanging up, I listened to the voices downstairs. They thought they'd won. They thought tomorrow they'd watch me walk away from my home, my memories, my inheritance. But Dad had taught me one thing above all else: always have a backup plan. I waited until midnight, when the house grew quiet. It was time to visit his study. The floorboard outside Dad's study always creaked. I'd memorized its exact location years ago, tiptoeing past it countless times during late-night raids to his candy stash. Tonight, I stepped over it carefully, listening for any movement from the other bedrooms. Silence. The study door wasn't locked. Paisley probably thought she'd already won. Moonlight filtered through the windows, casting shadows across Dad's leather chair, his collection of first editions, the chess set where he'd taught me to play. I closed the door behind me and clicked on my phone's flashlight. "Behind the bookshelf," I whispered to myself. But which one? The study had floor-to-ceiling shelves on 3 walls. I ran my fingers along the spines of his books, remembering how he'd read to me here. The memories threatened to overwhelm me, but I pushed them back. "Focus, Quinn!" A soft knock made me jump. "It's just me," Gerard whispered, slipping inside. "Need help?" I aimed my flashlight at his face. "Why would you help me?" He shifted uncomfortably. "Because Mom and Felicity are being cruel, and because I saw Dad talking to his lawyer last month. He seemed worried." "What lawyer?" "Franklin something. Old guy, bow tie." I remembered Franklin Wise. He'd been Dad's friend for decades. "What did they talk about?" Gerard shrugged. "Couldn't hear, but Dad kept pointing at that shelf." He gestured to the far wall. "The one with all the poetry books." I moved to the shelf, examining it closely. The books were arranged perfectly. Too perfectly. "Help me pull it forward." Together, we gripped the edges of the shelf and pulled. It swung out like a door, revealing a small wall safe behind it. "Holy shit," Gerard breathed. My hands shook as I approached the safe. "What's the combination?" "No idea, but knowing Dad—" Gerard trailed off. "Knowing Dad, it would be something meaningful." I thought for a moment, then tried my birthday. Nothing. "Try Mum's death date," Gerard suggested quietly. I looked at him sharply. He'd never acknowledged my mother before. I entered the date, 03/17/05. The safe clicked open. "I'll keep watch," Gerard said, moving to the door. "Hurry." Inside the safe, I found several envelopes, some old photos, and a leather folder. The first photo made my throat tight. Dad and me at my high school graduation, both of us beaming, before he got sick. before Paisley took over everything. The leather folder contained legal documents. I skimmed them quickly, my heart racing faster with each page. There it was, a codicil to his will, dated just 2 weeks before his death. Properly notarized, witnessed, and crystal clear, the house was mine. "Someone's coming," Gerard hissed. I shoved everything back except the codicil, which I tucked into my pyjama pocket. We quickly pushed the bookshelf back into place. The door opened. Felicity stood there in her silk robe, eyebrows raised. Well, what's this?" "Couldn't sleep," I said smoothly. "Wanted to say goodbye to Dad's study." "With Gerard?" she smirked. "How touching. A little late-night bonding before you're kicked to the curb." Gerard stepped forward. "Leave it alone, Fel." "Does Mum know you're helping her?" Felicity's voice turned sharp, because I'm sure she'd be interested to hear about this little midnight meeting. "Go ahead, tell her," I said, walking past her. "I'm leaving tomorrow anyway, right?" Back in my room, I pulled out the codicil with trembling hands. I read it 3 times to be sure. Then I called Julian. "I need you to pick me up early tomorrow," I told him, "and I need Franklin Wise's number." "Already? It's not even dawn." "Trust me, things are about to get interesting." A soft knock interrupted me. Gerard again. "I didn't tell them what we found," he said, closing the door behind him. "But Quinn, be careful. Mum and Felicity, they can be vindictive." "I know." I studied his face. "Why did you help me?" He was quiet for a moment. "Because Dad talked about you all the time when they weren't around. He missed you, and because—" He hesitated. "Because what they're doing isn't right." "Thank you," I said, "but this might get ugly." "I know." He turned to leave, then stopped. "Whatever you found in that safe, make it count." I waited until his footsteps faded before pulling out my phone again. The codicil felt warm in my hand, like it was alive with possibility. They thought they could erase me from my own home, treat me like an unwanted houseguest. But Dad had left me one last gift: the power to fight back. I dialed Franklin's number, watching the sun rise outside my window. It was time to show them what happened when you underestimated John Perry's daughter. Franklin's office hadn't changed in 15 years. Same leather chairs, same brass desk lamp, same bow tie. He studied the codicil through his reading glasses while I sat across from him, trying not to fidget. "This is legitimate," he said finally. "Your father came to me directly, insisted on updating his will. He knew Paisley was influencing things." "Influencing?" I leaned forward. Franklin removed his glasses. "Your father discovered that Paisley had been meeting with another lawyer, Marcus Reed. She convinced your father to sign a new will when he was heavily medicated, the one she showed you yesterday." "That's illegal," Julian said from the chair beside me. "Highly unethical, certainly." Franklin pulled out another document. "I have proof of the meetings and the medication logs from your father's nurse. But your father didn't want a legal battle while he was sick. Instead, he made this codicil." My hands clenched. "So the house is mine?" "Legally, yes. The codicil supersedes the previous will. But Quinn—" He hesitated. "Paisley won't leave quietly." "Good," I said. "I don't want quiet." Julian touched my arm. "Quinn, maybe we should just present the codicil formally, let the lawyers handle it." I shook my head. They humiliated me at Dad's funeral, made me feel like a stranger in my own home. I want them to feel what that's like. Franklin's eyes twinkled. "Your father would appreciate the poetry of that. He always said you had his spine." "So what's our play?" Julian asked. I smiled. "They're having an interior decorator over at 6. Perfect time for a family meeting, don't you think?" Franklin nodded slowly. "I'll arrive at 6:30. That should give them time to get comfortable. But Quinn, be careful. People like Paisley, when they're cornered—" "They bite," I finished. "I'm counting on it." Back in Julian's car, he turned to me. "You're enjoying this a little too much. You didn't see Felicity's face when she told me to get out, or hear Paisley talking about renovating Dad's study before he was even buried. I get it, but revenge isn't always— This isn't just revenge, I cut him off. This is justice. Dad wanted me to have the house. They tried to steal it. Okay. He started the car. What do you need me to do? I need you to help me set up some cameras. If they're going to show their true colours, I want it on record. We spent the next few hours buying small wireless cameras and hiding them strategically around the house. One in the living room, one in the kitchen, one in the foyer. I placed the last one in Dad's study myself. At 5:45, I heard cars pulling up. Paisley's voice drifted through the open windows, talking about paint samples and modern fixtures. I texted Julian, who was waiting nearby. Showtime. Paisley's heels clicked across the foyer. Quinn, why is your car still here? I emerged from the kitchen, smiling. Just finishing up some packing. Don't mind me. Felicity appeared, followed by an elegant woman carrying fabric swatches. Mother, shouldn't she be gone by now? I'm leaving soon, I said sweetly. Just waiting for a meeting. Meeting? Paisley's eyes narrowed. What meeting? Oh, didn't I mention? Dad's lawyer is stopping by. The colour drained from Paisley's face. Which lawyer? Franklin Wise. Remember him? Dad's friend of 30 years. Felicity stepped forward. Whatever you're planning. The doorbell rang. Gerard opened it, revealing Franklin in his signature bow tie. Good evening, everyone, he said pleasantly. I believe we have some business to discuss. We have nothing to discuss, Paisley snapped. I have the will right here. Ah, yes, the will drafted by Marcus Reed. Franklin's voice hardened. Interesting timing on that, given your husband's medication schedule. The interior decorator looked uncomfortable. Perhaps I should come back another time. No, I said, pulling out the codicil. I think you should stay. After all, we need to discuss who actually has the authority to renovate this house. Paisley's face went from white to red. What is that? This. I held up the document. This is Dad's real final wish. Would you like to read it? Or should I have Franklin explain what happens when someone manipulates a dying man into signing away his daughter's inheritance? The room went deadly quiet. Through the window I saw Julian's car pull up, right on schedule. Felicity lunged for the document, but I stepped back. Careful, I warned. Everything happening right now is being recorded. How do you think a judge would view that kind of behaviour? You're bluffing, Paisley whispered. I pulled out my phone, showing them the live camera feeds. Am I? The interior decorator gathered her things quickly. I'll call to reschedule. Don't bother, I said, not taking my eyes off Paisley. I'll be handling all decisions about this house from now on. The next morning, I sat in the living room, pretending to sort through old photos while Paisley paced the floor on her phone. Her voice carried through the house, shrill with desperation. Marcus, you promised this wouldn't happen? No, you listen to me. Fix this, or I'll make sure everyone knows about our little arrangement. I kept my eyes down, but my phone was recording everything. Julian had helped me download an app that enhanced audio quality. Every word was crystal clear. Felicity stormed in, still in her pyjamas. This is ridiculous. We can't let her win. Lower your voice, Paisley hissed, covering her phone. Marcus, I'll call you back. I flipped through another photo album, pausing at a picture of Dad teaching me to ride a bike. Oh, look at this one. Remember this, Felicity? Oh, wait, you weren't here yet. Enjoy it while you can, Felicity spat. We're contesting the codicil. With what evidence? I looked up innocently. The part where you manipulated Dad while he was on morphine, or the part where you kept me from seeing him those last weeks? Josephine appeared in the doorway, looking uncertain. Mum, maybe we should just... Shut up, Josie, Felicity snapped. Go pack your things. Nobody's packing anything, Paisley said firmly. This isn't over. I stood up, stretching. You're right, it's not. I'm still deciding what to do about the fraud. Franklin thinks we have a strong criminal case. The colour drained from Paisley's face. You wouldn't dare. Try me. I walked to the window, watching Julian's car pull up, right on cue. Oh, look, help has arrived. I'm having the locks changed today. You can't do that. Felicity lunged forward, but Paisley grabbed her arm. Don't give her more ammunition, she warned. I smiled. Smart. The cameras are still rolling, by the way. Every word, every action. Gerard appeared, looking exhausted. Mum, can we talk? Privately? Not now, Paisley snapped. Yes, now. He grabbed her arm, pulling her toward the kitchen. I picked up another photo album, but kept my phone recording. Their voices carried clearly. This is insane, Gerard was saying. We need to stop. I will not be humiliated by that girl. That girl is Dad's daughter, his real daughter. A slap echoed through the house, then silence. I winced, but kept my face neutral as Paisley stormed back in. Her hands were shaking. You think you've won, she seethed. You have no idea what I'm capable of. Actually, I do. I held up my phone. That slap sounded pretty clear, don't you think? Wonder what social services would think about how you treat your kids. Josephine started crying. Mum, please, let's just go. Nobody's going anywhere, Paisley screamed. Julian walked in, toolbox in hand. Everything okay in here? Perfect timing, I said. The locks need changing in the whole house, every door. You heard her, Felicity sneered. We're not leaving. Then I'll call the police, I said calmly. I have the legal documents showing my ownership, plus evidence of fraud, abuse and harassment. Your choice. Gerard emerged from the kitchen, his cheek red. Mum, she's right. We need to go. Gerard! Paisley looked betrayed. No, Mom, look at yourself. Look at what you're doing to us. To yourself. Felicity grabbed a vase, one of Dad's favourites, and hurled it at the wall. It shattered spectacularly. Perfect, I said, as Julian's camera caught everything. That'll look great in court. You bitch, Felicity whispered. You planned all of this? Actually, you did. I'm just better at it. I turned to Julian. Start with the front door, please. Paisley's shoulders sagged suddenly. She looked older, defeated. Fine. You want the house? Keep it, but don't think this is over. Oh, I know it's not, I replied. But here's the difference. I have proof of everything you've done. Every scheme, every lie, every manipulation. One wrong move and it all goes public. How's that for leverage? Josephine touched my arm. Quinn, please. I softened slightly. You can come get your things tomorrow, supervised, 1 hour each. How generous, Felicity spat. More generous than you deserve, Julian said, starting work on the locks. I watched them retreat upstairs, listening to their angry whispers and slammed doors. The house already felt different, lighter somehow. Gerard lingered behind. I'm sorry, he said quietly, about everything. I know. I touched his arm gently. You can come back too, just not with them. He nodded and followed his family upstairs. I sat back down with the photo albums, running my fingers over Dad's smiling face. See, I whispered. I told you I'd fix it. The sound of packing and cursing drifted down from above, but for the first time since Dad died, I felt at peace. The house was mine. Justice was mine. And this was just the beginning. The next day, I sat in Dad's study while Franklin supervised the moving out process. Each family member had their designated hour, and Felicity was up first. The sounds of her stomping around upstairs made the chandelier shake. She's doing it on purpose, Julian muttered from his spot by the window. Let her, I said. Every tantrum is more evidence. A crash echoed from above, followed by Felicity's voice. Oops, was that Quinn's old cheerleading trophy? Franklin sighed. I'll add it to the list of damaged property. My phone buzzed. A text from Gerard. Mum's meeting with another lawyer, planning something big. Before I could respond, Paisley swept into the study, uninvited. We need to talk. Your hour isn't until 3, I said, not looking up from Dad's desk. This isn't about moving. She perched on the leather chair across from me. I have a proposal. Julian stepped closer, phone ready to record. Half? Paisley said. We split everything 50-50, the house, the assets, everything. I laughed. You're not in a position to negotiate. No, she leaned forward. What if I told you there are things about your father you don't know, things that could damage his reputation? The room went quiet except for Felicity's continued stomping upstairs. "Are you threatening to slander my dead father?" I kept my voice steady. "I'm offering you a chance to protect his memory." Paisley's smile was razor sharp. Those last months he was confused, said things, wrote things. Would be a shame if those ramblings became public. Franklin cleared his throat. "Mrs. Perry, I advise you to consider your next words carefully." "Stay out of this, Franklin." She turned back to me. "What's it going to be, Quinn? Share the house or watch your father's legacy burn?" I opened Dad's desk drawer slowly, pulled out a small recorder. "Thank you for that confession. Want to add attempted blackmail to the fraud charges?" Her face contorted. "You little—" "Mother!" Gerard appeared in the doorway. "Stop, please." "Always taking her side," she hissed. "No," he said firmly. "I'm trying to stop you from making things worse. We already lost Dad. Don't make us lose everything else." Josephine appeared behind him, tears in her eyes. "Mum, please, let's just go." A thud from upstairs made us all jump. Felicity appeared on the stairs, dragging a massive painting. "If we can't have the house, we're taking grandmother's art." "That stays," I stood up. "Family heirlooms remain with the house." "Family?" Felicity laughed hysterically. "You're not family, you're just the leftover from Dad's first marriage." "Felicity!" Gerard shouted, but she was on a roll. "You think you've won? You think this makes you special? Dad only kept you around out of guilt. Everyone knows he loved us more." The room went deadly silent. Even Paisley looked shocked. I walked to Felicity slowly, calm and collected. "You want to know what Dad really thought? Read this." I pulled out a letter from my pocket, one I'd found in the safe. "His last words to me. Go ahead." Her hands shook as she read. Her face went from smug to pale. "What does it say?" Josephine whispered. Felicity crumpled the paper. "He's lying. He was sick. He didn't know—" "Read it," Gerard demanded, snatching the letter. His voice cracked as he read aloud. "My dearest Quinn, I'm sorry I let them push you away. Everything I built, everything I am, was always meant for you. They may have had my time, but you had my heart. Don't let them take what's yours. Love, Dad." Paisley grabbed the letter. "This proves nothing." "It proves everything," Franklin said quietly, "along with the videos, the recordings and the medical records. Quinn, shall I call the police?" Josephine burst into tears. Gerard put his arm around her. "No," I said finally. "Just get out, all of you. Take your clothes, your personal items. Everything else stays." "You can't," Felicity started. I am. You have 30 minutes. Anything left behind gets donated." Paisley straightened her spine. "This isn't over." "Yes, it is." I sat back at Dad's desk. "Unless you want those fraud charges after all?" They filed out slowly, Felicity cursing, Paisley rigid with fury. Josephine paused at the door. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't know." "Go with them, Josie," I said gently. "But remember this feeling. Remember what happens when you follow the wrong people." Gerard was last. The letter? Did he really write that? I met his eyes. "What do you think?" He nodded slowly and left. Julian started a timer on his phone. 30 minutes. I looked around Dad's study at the empty spaces where Felicity had already grabbed things, but it didn't matter. The house was mine. His legacy was safe. And my revenge? It tasted exactly like justice. The house felt enormous that night. Every room echoed with emptiness, despite still being fully furnished. I wandered from space to space, touching familiar objects, trying to feel triumphant. Instead, I just felt hollow. The doorbell rang at midnight. I checked the security camera. Gerard stood on the porch, hands in his pockets. "You shouldn't be here," I said through the door. "I know, but I need to talk to you." I opened the door but blocked the entrance. "If Paisley sent you, she doesn't know I'm here." He looked exhausted. "Can I come in, please?" Against my better judgment, I stepped aside. We walked to the kitchen, where I'd already cleaned up all traces of them. their coffee mugs, their fancy tea containers, their pretentious organic snacks. "Want some hot chocolate?" I asked. "Dad's secret recipe." "With the tiny marshmallows? Is there any other way?" For a moment it felt almost normal, like we were actually siblings who grew up together, not strangers forced into a family. "They're staying at the Marriott," he said, watching me heat the milk. "Felicity's having a meltdown. Mum's on her 4th glass of wine. Josephine won't stop crying." "Not my problem." "I know." He accepted the mug I handed him. "But Quinn, there's something you should know about the day Dad signed that will." I gripped my mug tighter. "I don't want to hear—" "You need to." His voice was firm. "I was there. Mum told me to keep you busy, to take you to lunch, remember?" I did remember. It had seemed so innocent at the time. "While we were gone, she brought Marcus to the hospital. He was having a bad day, really bad. The nurses had just given him morphine." "Stop," I whispered. "He kept asking for you, but Mum told him you were too busy, that you didn't want to see him. She made him think—" The mug slipped from my hands, shattering on the floor. Hot chocolate splashed everywhere. "Don't move," I said automatically, grabbing paper towels, just like Dad used to say whenever we spilled something. Gerard knelt to help me clean up. "I should have told you then, but Mum, she has a way of making you feel like you're crazy for questioning her." "Why tell me now?" "Because I watched her destroy one family. I don't want to watch her destroy what's left of this one." I sat back on my heels, surrounded by ceramic shards. "There is no family left." "There could be." He met my eyes. "I'm not asking for them. I'm asking for me. And for Josephine. She's just a kid, Quinn. She doesn't understand any of this." "She's 18. "She's terrified. Mum's already talking about lawsuits, private investigators, digging up dirt on you and Dad." I stood up, throwing the paper towels away. "Let her try." "Quinn, please, you won your house back. You proved Dad loved you most. Isn't that enough?" "Enough?" I spun around. "They tried to steal everything from me. They kept me from my dying father. "I know." He stood too. "And they were wrong. But this revenge, it's changing you. You're starting to sound like them." The words hit harder than I expected. Dad used to say something similar about Paisley. "Bitterness changes people, Quinn. Makes them ugly inside." My phone buzzed. A text from Josephine. "I miss you. And Dad. I'm sorry." Gerard watched me read it. "She means it, you know. She's different from them." "Different enough to testify about what really happened with that will?" He stepped back. "That's what this is about. You're building a case." "I'm protecting myself." "No, you're becoming exactly what they accused you of being." He headed for the door. "Maybe you did win, Quinn, but at what cost?" The door clicked shut behind him, leaving me alone in the huge house. I looked around the kitchen, at the broken mug, the spilled chocolate, the empty chairs where a family used to sit. My phone buzzed again. "Julian. You okay? Need company?" I started to type "I'm fine," but stopped. The truth was, I didn't feel fine. I felt powerful and empty all at once. "Come over," I texted back. "Bring ice cream." I walked to Dad's study, where his chess set still sat mid-game from our last match. I'd been so focused on winning, on getting revenge, I hadn't noticed what I was becoming. The question was, could I stop? My phone lit up with another text from Josephine. "Can we talk? Just us?" I stared at the message for a long time, remembering how young she was when she first came into our lives. How she used to follow me around, asking about makeup and boys. "Tomorrow," I typed back. "Coffee shop on Main. Just us." Sometimes I heard Dad's voice whisper, "The hardest move in chess is knowing when to step back." The coffee shop was nearly empty when Josephine walked in. She looked smaller somehow, wearing an oversized sweater and none of her usual makeup. For a moment I saw the little girl who used to beg me to braid her hair. "I didn't tell Mum I was coming," she said, sliding into the booth. "Smart." I pushed a vanilla latte toward her, her favourite. "You remembered." She wrapped her hands around the cup. "Hard to forget. You used to steal sips of mine all the time." An uncomfortable silence fell between us. Through the window, I watched leaves scatter across the parking lot. "They're saying terrible things about you," Josephine finally said. "About Dad, too." I expected that. "Felicity wants to sell stories to the local papers about Dad being abusive, about him playing favourites. Mum's encouraging it." My hand tightened around my cup. "They wouldn't dare." "They would. Mum's desperate. Josephine glanced around and lowered her voice. "She's been calling Dad's old business partners, trying to find dirt. And this morning I saw her with Dad's watch, the one you always loved. She said she'd make sure you never got it. The silver pocket watch?" My stomach dropped. Dad had promised it to me on my 16th birthday. Josephine nodded. "She gave it to Felicity to hide. I'm not supposed to know where." "Why are you telling me this?" Her eyes filled with tears. "Because it's wrong. All of it. The lies, the schemes. I can't sleep at night. I keep seeing Dad's face. How sad he was those last weeks when he asked for you." I reached for her hand, but she pulled back. "No, let me finish. I heard them, Quinn. The day they brought that lawyer. Dad was so confused, he kept calling me by your name. Mum told him you didn't want to see him, that you were too busy. He cried." My coffee turned to acid in my stomach. "Josie, I should have told you then, but Mum said it was for the best, that you'd abandoned us anyway. I believed her because it was easier than admitting what we were doing." A notification popped up on my phone, a security alert from the house. Someone had triggered the back door sensor. "I have to go." I stood up abruptly. "Wait!" Josephine grabbed my arm. "There's more. Felicity hired someone. They're going to the house today, while you're here." I was already dialing Julian. "Where's the watch, Josie?" "The old tree house in Dad's garden." "Thank you." I headed for the door. "Quinn?" Her voice was small. "I really am sorry." "I know, kiddo." I managed a smile. "Stay away from the house today, okay?" Julian picked me up around the corner. We drove in tense silence until he said, "You called the police, right?" "Not yet. I want to catch them in the act." "That's crazy. They could be dangerous." "They're not. It's probably just Felicity being dramatic." I pointed to a car parked near my house. "See? That's her BMW." We parked down the street and approached quietly. The security app showed movement in the garden. "Got you," I whispered, leading Julian around back. We found Felicity halfway up the treehouse ladder, cursing as she struggled in her designer boots. "Looking for something?" I called out. She screamed and lost her grip. Julian rushed forward to catch her before she fell. "Get your hands off me!" She shoved him away. "Breaking and entering," I said, filming with my phone. "That's a felony, Felicity." "It's my house too." "No, it's not. And that watch you're trying to steal? Dad promised it to me years ago. I have it in writing." "You have everything in writing, don't you?" She spat. "Little Miss Perfect, Daddy's favourite." At least I didn't have to drug him to get what I wanted. She lunged at me, but Julian stepped between us. "Enough! Quinn, call the police." "No," I said, surprising myself. "Let her go." "What?" "Go, Felicity, but tell Paisley this ends now. No stories to the papers, no more schemes, or next time I press charges." She straightened her designer jacket, trying to salvage her dignity. "You think you're so much better than us?" "No," I said quietly. "I just loved him more than I hated you." She fled to her car, tires squealing as she drove away. Julian helped me retrieve the watch from the treehouse. It was still beautiful, still ticking perfectly. "You okay?" he asked as I held it. "No." I traced the inscription Dad had added years ago. "For my Quinn, who always makes time for love." You did the right thing, letting her go. Did I? I stared at the watch. Or am I just tired of fighting? Maybe both. He squeezed my shoulder. "Come on, let's get you inside before they try something else." But as we walked back, I couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. The real estate agent's heels clicked against the hardwood floors as she walked through the house. "It's a beautiful property. We could list it tomorrow." I nodded, watching her measure the living room windows. Dad's watch felt heavy in my pocket as I touched the familiar walls one last time. My phone buzzed, a text from Gerard. "Mum's being served with fraud charges right now. Thought you should know." Another message followed. "It wasn't you, was it?" "No," I typed back. "Franklin did it. Said Dad made him promise." The agent's voice pulled me back. "The garden is spectacular. That treehouse might need to come down, though." "The treehouse stays," I said firmly. "It's part of the rental agreement." She raised an eyebrow. "Rental?" "Yes, I'm not selling. I'm looking for the right family to rent to. Someone who'll love this place like we did." "Like we should have," I added silently. The doorbell rang. Julian opened it before I could move. We'd developed a system after Felicity's break-in attempt. "It's Josephine," he called out. She stood in the foyer, clutching a familiar photo album. "I brought this back. It's yours anyway." The real estate agent excused herself to make some calls, leaving us alone. "How's everyone taking the fraud charges?" I asked. "Mum's lawyer says she might avoid jail if she cooperates. Felicity's having a meltdown about her reputation." Josephine opened the album. "But that's not why I'm here. Look what I found." The photo showed all of us on Dad's last birthday. He was thin but smiling, one arm around me, the other around Josephine. Even Gerard was grinning. Only Paisley and Felicity stood apart, their smiles tight. "We could have been a real family," Josephine whispered. "Maybe, but we chose sides instead. I chose wrong." She closed the album. "Gerard told me you're renting the house out." "I can't live here right now. Too many ghosts." "Where will you go?" I pulled out a brochure from my back pocket. "Remember when Dad talked about that writing programme in Scotland, the one he always wished he'd done?" Her eyes widened. "You're going?" "For 6 months, maybe longer." I handed her a key. "That's why I need someone to check on the renters, make sure they're treating the place right." "Me?" "You and Gerard, if he wants. The garden needs attention too. Dad's roses won't grow themselves." She clutched the key. "But after everything—" "You told me the truth, Josie, about the will, about the watch. That counts for something." The real estate agent returned, tablet in hand. "I have several interested parties already, all excellent references." "Show me," I said, but kept my eyes on Josephine. "Stay? Help me choose?" She nodded, wiping her eyes. We spent the afternoon interviewing potential renters. A young family caught my eye. Their little girl immediately asked about the treehouse, just like I would have. As the sun set, Julian helped me pack the last box into his car. "You sure about this?" "About Scotland? Yes. About the house? Getting there." "And them?" He nodded toward Josephine, who was showing the family around the garden. "Them?" I pulled out Dad's watch. "I'm learning something Dad tried to teach me. Revenge feels good for a moment, but grace lasts longer." Gerard's car pulled up. He got out slowly, uncertainly. "The roses need pruning," I called out. "Think you remember how?" He smiled slightly. "Dad made us practice enough." "Good, because I left instructions for both of you. Garden maintenance, house checks, the works. Think you can handle it?" "Together?" He glanced at Josephine. "Together," she echoed, joining us. I handed Gerard a copy of the key. "Don't make me regret this." "We won't," they said in unison, sounding young again. Later, as Julian drove me home, I looked at the final text from Paisley. "You'll regret this, all of it." I deleted it without responding. She'd lost everything that mattered. Her reputation, her social standing, her control. My revenge had worked perfectly. But watching Gerard and Josephine in the rearview mirror, standing together in Dad's garden, I realised something. The best revenge wasn't taking everything from Paisley. It was saving what I could of the family Dad had wanted us to be. I pulled out his watch one last time, running my fingers over the inscription. The glass face reflected the setting sun, and for a moment I swore I could see him smiling. "Ready?" Julian asked as we turned the corner. I tucked the watch away, feeling lighter than I had in months. "Yeah, I think I finally am. The house disappeared behind us, but I wasn't afraid. Sometimes moving forward means letting go, not of the past, but of the anger that chains you to it. Dad taught me that too in the end.
I want a divorce. 3 words that shattered my world on an ordinary Tuesday morning, delivered between sips of the coffee I'd made him every day for 20 years. My name is Serenity, and 3 months ago, my husband and I celebrated our 20th wedding anniversary at the Ritz. Today, Trey sits across from me at our kitchen island, telling me he's in love with my 19-year-old cousin. Say something, Lal, he prompts, checking his Rolex, the one I bought him last Christmas. How long? My voice sounds foreign, like it's coming from somewhere else. Does it matter? It matters to me. I grip my coffee mug tighter, anchoring myself to something solid. 6 months. He won't meet my eyes. Since the Labor Day barbecue. The mug slips from my hand, shattering against the marble floor I'd picked out during our renovation last spring. Coffee spreads like a dark stain across the white tiles. Noelle, I whisper her name. She's barely older than the wine in our cellar. Age is just a number. He actually says this with a straight face. We didn't plan this, Serenity. It just happened. I flash back to Labor Day, Noelle showing up in that tiny sundress, all legs and golden hair, the way she kept touching Trey's arm when she laughed, how she lingered in the kitchen while he mixed drinks. You've been sleeping with her in our home? The guest house, actually. He has the audacity to look relieved, like confessing has lifted some great burden. Mary helped set it up for her last month. My mother-in-law? Of course. Mary never thought I was good enough for her precious son, even after I helped put him through business school, even after I turned our modest inheritance into a real estate portfolio that tripled our net worth. When were you planning to tell me about my cousin living in my guest house? We were trying to find the right time. He stands up, straightening his tie. Look, I have a meeting at 9. Can we discuss logistics later? I've already talked to a lawyer about division of assets. The room spins. I steady myself against the counter, bile rising in my throat. Get out! Serenity, get out! He leaves, just like that. 20 years reduced to a 10-minute conversation, and the sound of his BMW pulling out of our driveway. I spend the next hour vomiting in our ensuite bathroom. Then I lie on the cool tiles, staring at the ceiling I'd had hand-painted with gold leaf last summer. My phone buzzes repeatedly, missed calls from clients, texts from my assistant about today's design consultation. Around noon, the doorbell rings. I ignore it, but Mary has a key. I hear her heels clicking on the hardwood. Serenity? Her voice drips with fake concern. Darling, are you here? I find her in the kitchen, tisking at the broken mug and dried coffee still on the floor. Oh, you poor thing. She opens her arms for a hug I don't accept. Trey told me everything. These things happen, dear. Sometimes marriages just run their course. Get out of my house, Mary. Now, now. She perches on a bar stool like she owns it. We need to discuss arrangements. Noelle needs a proper place to stay, and that guest house is perfect for a fresh start. I stare at her, this woman who helped orchestrate my humiliation. The guest house is my property. Community property, dear, and Trey wants Noelle close. She stands, smoothing her designer skirt. I've already had the locks changed, just trying to make this transition easier for everyone. She leaves me standing there, surrounded by the wreckage of my marriage. Through the window, I catch a glimpse of Noelle in the garden, wearing one of my sun hats, watering my roses like she belongs there. My phone buzzes again. It's Eliana, my best friend and real estate lawyer. Where are you? Missed our lunch. Everything okay? I text back with trembling fingers. Need you? Emergency? Then I walk to my home office and unlock the safe behind my degrees. Inside is every financial document, every contract, every piece of paper that built this life Trey and Noelle think they can just step into. My reflection catches in the window, mascara streaked, hair a mess, designer dress wrinkled. They think I'm done, A middle-aged wife, easily discarded. They don't know who I used to be before I became Mrs. Trey Newman. They're about to find out. I pick up my phone again and dial a number I've kept for emergencies. Peter, it's Serenity. I need your services. How fast can you start surveillance on 2 people? The first tears I've shed all day finally fall, but they're not tears of grief. They're tears of rage. And rage, I'm discovering, burns much hotter than love ever did. You need a shark, Eliana declares, spreading documents across my dining room table. And I know just the one. Darren Shaw. He's ruthless, especially with cheaters. It's been 48 hours since Trey's announcement. I haven't slept, but I've been busy. Very busy. First things first, Eliana continues, highlighting sections of paperwork. The guest house? It's yours, 100%. You bought it with your inheritance before the marriage. Mary's little lock-changing stunt was illegal. A knock at the front door interrupts us. Through the security camera feed on my phone, I see a locksmith's van. Right on time, Eliana smirks. Let's go say hello to the happy couple. We find Noel sunbathing by the guest house pool, my pool, while Trey works on his laptop nearby. The locksmith starts working without a word. What's going on? Trey stands up frowning. You can't do this. Actually, she can. Eliana steps forward, all business. This property belongs solely to Serenity. I have the deed right here. You're trespassing. Noelle sits up, adjusting her bikini, one I recognize from my own closet. But Mary said... Mary lied. I cut her off. You have 1 hour to pack your things and leave. This is ridiculous. Trey pulls out his phone. I'm calling my lawyer. Please do. Eliana hands him her card. Have them contact me directly. Oh, and Trey, the Bentley in the garage, also solely in Serenity's name. I'll need those keys. His face turns purple. You vindictive by... Careful, I interrupt. Peter's recording everything from that van across the street. You wouldn't want to add harassment to the legal complaints, would you? Noelle bursts into tears, the pretty, delicate kind she's perfected. You're being so cruel. We're family. Family? I laugh, and it sounds hollow even to my ears. Family doesn't fuck their cousin's husband in her guest house. An hour later, I watch them load their things into Trey's BMW. Mary shows up halfway through, screeching about family loyalty and Christian forgiveness. I let Peter record every word. You've got quite a team assembled, Eliana observes after they leave. Peter's good. Found something interesting already. She slides a photo across the table. It shows Noelle entering a fertility clinic. Taken yesterday, Eliana explains. Peter followed her there. She spent 2 hours inside. My stomach lurches. She's trying to get pregnant? Or trying to fake it? Eliana squeezes my hand. Either way, we're ahead of them now. The doorbell rings again. This time it's Darren Shaw, looking exactly like the shark Eliana promised. He sets his briefcase on my coffee table and gets straight to business. I've reviewed your financials, he says, pulling out a tablet. You're in a stronger position than most. The house, the guest house, the Bentley, all yours. But there's something odd in the joint accounts. He shows me transaction records, large sums moving between accounts, dates corresponding with Noelle's arrival. He's hiding money, I realize. Trying to. Darren smiles, but it's not friendly. Badly. We can use this. My phone buzzes. Mary calling again. I decline it. She'll try to paint you as unstable, Darren warns. The scorned wife lashing out. We need to control the narrative. Already on it, Peter calls from the doorway. He enters, laptop in hand. Found some interesting emails between Mary and Noelle, dating back months before the affair started. Want to see how they planned this? I read the emails, my hands shaking. The manipulation, the calculated moves, the way they discussed me like I was an obstacle to be removed. There's more, Peter adds. Noelle's been researching fake pregnancy symptoms online. And Mary? She's got financial trouble she's hiding from everyone. Seems she lost a lot of money in some questionable investments. Good. I stand up, suddenly energized. Use all of it, every detail. You sure? Eliana asks softly. This will get ugly. I walk to the window. In the distance, I can see the guest house, my guest house, where my teenage cousin plotted to steal my life. They made it ugly, I reply. I'm just playing by their rules now. My phone buzzes again. This time it's a text from Noelle. Please don't do this. We can work something out. Family should stick together. I show it to Darren. He grins. Perfect. She's scared. Let's use that. One more thing, Peter interjects, showing me his screen. Noelle visited the fertility clinic again today, but look who drove her there. The photo shows Mary's car in the parking lot. Well, I say, feeling a cold smile spread across my face. Isn't that interesting? She's here. My assistant's panicked voice crackles through my earpiece. Noelle just walked into the showroom with Mary. I'm in the middle of hosting a crucial design presentation for my biggest clients of the year. 30 potential investors are gathered in my showroom, sipping champagne and admiring my latest luxury home staging. Ladies and gentlemen, I continue smoothly, if you'll follow me to the garden terrace. Serenity, Noelle's voice rings out across the room. She's wearing a white sundress, playing the innocent ingenue perfectly. We need to talk. The room goes silent. Mary stands behind her, smartphone already recording. They planned this, of course. Create a scene, make me look unstable in front of my clients. I turn to my guests with an apologetic smile. Please excuse this unfortunate interruption. Security will handle it. You can't just ignore me, Noelle's voice cracks with fake tears. I'm carrying your husband's baby. Gasps ripple through the crowd. I see phones coming out, recording. Exactly what they wanted. But I'm ready. Actually, I say loudly, I have something to show everyone. I nod to my assistant, who clicks a remote. The massive presentation screen lights up with security footage from the fertility clinic. This is from yesterday. Notice the timestamp. The footage shows Noelle and Mary entering the clinic. Then, clear as day, Noelle's voice. I need to buy more pregnancy tests. The ones I've been using aren't convincing enough. Mary's face goes pale. Noelle freezes. And this, I continue, clicking to the next clip, is from their consultation room. Thank you, Peter, for being so thorough with the audio. Mary's voice fills the room. We need to move faster. Once she thinks you're pregnant, Trey will transfer the retirement funds. Just stick to the plan. The crowd murmurs. Several people are still recording, but now their phones are pointed at Noelle and Mary. Security, I call out pleasantly. Please escort these women out, and make sure to get copies of everyone's videos. My lawyer will need them for the fraud case. As they're led away, Noelle screaming about family betrayal, I turn back to my clients. Now, about that garden terrace. We've installed a stunning water feature. Later that evening, Eliana brings wine and takeout to my office. That video's gone viral in the local real estate groups, she says, pulling up her phone. Mary's reputation is toast. Good. I pour us both generous glasses. How's the legal side progressing? Darren's having a field day. Trey's lawyer called, trying to negotiate. They know we have them on the financial fraud. My phone buzzes. A text from Zoe, Noelle's best friend. Can we meet? There's something you need to know. Interesting, Eliana reads over my shoulder. Think it's a trap? Only one way to find out. I meet Zoe at a coffee shop downtown. She looks nervous, fidgeting with her cup. Noelle's been lying, she blurts out, about everything. She and Mary planned this months ago. They found out about Trey's retirement account and decided to take it, I finish. I know. No, it's worse. Zoe pulls out her phone. Look at these messages. They're going after your business next. Mary's been contacting your clients, telling them you're having a breakdown. I scroll through the screenshots, my blood boiling. Why are you showing me this? Zoe looks down. Because Noelle tried to do the same thing to my sister last year, with her husband. She She has a pattern. Back home, I forward everything to Darren and Peter. Then I do something I've been avoiding. I watch my wedding video. 20 years ago, I promised to love and cherish Trey forever. In the video, Mary stands behind us, beaming with pride. Noelle, just a child then, throws flower petals. My phone rings. It's Peter. "You need to hear this," he says without preamble. "Voicemail from Mary to Noelle, recorded last week." I put it on speaker. "Remember the plan. Secure the house. Secure the man. She can't undo it once you give him a baby. Real or not, it doesn't matter. The money will be ours." I end the call and walk to my window. In the distance, I can see Trey and Noelle through the window of their cheap rental apartment. They're arguing. Mary's car is parked outside. My phone buzzes again. Another text from Noelle. "Please, I'm desperate. Can we talk? I'll tell you everything." I forward the message to Darren with 2 words. Set trap. Then I pour another glass of wine and start planning my next move. Because if they think this is bad, they have no idea what's coming next. "How can you be so cold about this?" My mother's voice trembles over Sunday brunch. "She's your cousin, your family." I set down my mimosa, studying the woman who raised me to be nice at all costs. "Did you say that to Noelle when she moved into my guest house to sleep with my husband? She's young, she made a mistake." "She's 19, not 9. I lean forward. "And you know what's interesting, Mom? I found some old emails between you and Mary. Want to explain why you knew about their affair 3 months ago and didn't tell me?" The color drains from her face. I didn't want to hurt you." "No, you didn't want to rock the boat. Just like always." My phone buzzes. Peter sending me updates. I excuse myself to take the call in the restaurant's lobby. "Found something big," he says without preamble. "Remember that failed business venture Mary invested in last year? Turns out it was linked to Noelle's ex-boyfriend. They were siphoning money from your joint accounts with Trey." "How much?" "Close to 100,000. But here's the kicker. Mary used your signature to authorize the transfers. I've got the forged documents." I end the call and return to find my mother gone, her half-eaten eggs Benedict abandoned. Typical. She's been running from confrontation my whole life. Back home, I find Trey waiting in my driveway. He looks terrible, unshaven, wearing wrinkled clothes. "We need to talk," he says, following me inside despite my silence. "About the retirement account." "You mean the one you emptied to set up your teenage girlfriend?" "It's not like that." He runs his hands through his graying hair. "Noelle needed help. Her business idea." "What business idea?" I interrupt, pressing record on my phone. "The one Mary set up with Noelle's ex? The one they used our money for?" His face goes slack. "How did you know about the fraud, the forged signatures, the money laundering?" I smile coldly. "I know everything, Trey, and so will the SEC if you don't start talking." He breaks. Right there in my kitchen, he spills everything. How Mary convinced him I was going to leave him. How Noelle played on his insecurities. How they used the money for a scheme that was doomed from the start. I let my phone record every word. Later, Eliana reviews the recording with Darren. "This is gold," she says. "He admitted to everything." "There's more," Peter adds, joining us via video call. "I found messages between Mary and Noelle's friend Zoe. Seems Zoe was originally part of their plan, but backed out when she realized how deep it went." My phone lights up with a text from Zoe. "They're planning something big. Mary's desperate. Be careful." As if on cue, my doorbell rings. It's Mary, looking immaculate as always in her designer suit. "We need to end this foolishness," she announces, brushing past me into the foyer. "You're destroying our family's reputation." "I'm destroying it?" I laugh. "That's rich, coming from the woman who forged my signature to steal my money." She freezes. "I don't know what you're talking about." "No?" I pull up the documents on my tablet. "These transfer authorizations look familiar. Peter's handwriting expert says the forgeries are amateur work. Sloppy, really? You bitch, she hisses, mask finally cracking. You think you're so clever? You never deserved Trey, never deserved any of this. And Noelle does? Your little puppet who can't even fake a pregnancy convincingly? At least she can give him children. Mary spits the words like venom. Unlike you. The room goes silent. 20 years of pain surface in an instant. The miscarriages, the failed IVF, the dreams we buried. Get out, I whisper. Get out before I forget you're Trey's mother. She leaves, but not before turning at the door. This isn't over. Actually, I call after her, it is. Check your email. Those forged documents already sent to your bank's fraud department. That night, I sit in my home office, surrounded by evidence of 2 decades of manipulation. My phone buzzes with a text from Zoe. I know what she did, and it's worse than you think. Mary's been planning this since your wedding day. I pour a glass of wine and pull up the security cameras. Through the guest house windows, I can see Noelle packing boxes. Trey's car is gone, probably running to Mary for help again. They thought they could break me. Instead, they gave me everything I need to destroy them all. My phone rings. It's Peter. You're not going to believe what I just found in Mary's old records. I'm pregnant! Noelle's voice rings through the country club dining room. She's standing on a chair, champagne glass raised, tears streaming down her face. Trey and I are having a baby! The assembled crowd, mostly Mary's friends, breaks into applause. Trey beams, accepting congratulations. Mary sits like a queen, basking in her triumph. I sip my martini at the bar, watching the show. They haven't noticed me yet. Quite the performance, Zoe mutters, sliding onto the bar stool next to me. Should we tell them about her appointment to discuss abortion options yesterday? Not yet. I check my phone. Peter's latest update confirms everything. Let them dig the hole deeper. Trey spots me finally. His smile falters. What are you doing here? Having a drink. I raise my glass. Congratulations on the miracle baby. Though I'm curious, how far along did you say you were, Noelle? She stammers. 8 weeks. Interesting. I pull out my phone. Because according to your medical records from last week, you're not pregnant at all. The room goes silent. Mary stands up, face flushed. How dare you, Al? Oh, I dare! I turn to the crowd. Did you know Noelle's been researching how to fake pregnancy tests online? Or that she has an appointment tomorrow to discuss termination options? Guess the retirement money transfer wasn't enough. She needed a bigger payday. She's lying! Noelle shrieks, but her mascara is running now with real tears. Show them, Zoe says quietly. I project the medical records onto the wall using the club's presentation screen. Noelle's name, date, test results, all clearly visible. You broke doctor-patient confidentiality, Mary sputters. Actually, Noelle signed a release. I smile at Zoe. Her best friend here is still listed as her medical proxy. Oversight on your part, really. Trey's face has gone from red to white. Is this true? He asked Noelle. Have you been lying? She looks desperately at Mary, who's already gathering her things to flee. Don't leave yet, Mary. I raise my voice. Don't you want to explain why you took Noelle to that fertility clinic? Or why you've been researching fake pregnancy symptoms together? The crowd is muttering now, phones recording everything. Mary's carefully cultivated social circle, witnessing her humiliation in real time. While we're all here, I continue, let's discuss the retirement accounts. Trey, want to tell everyone what you did with our savings? Or should I play the recording? This is a private matter, he growls. Nothing's private anymore. I stand up, addressing the room. My husband and mother-in-law conspired with my teenage cousin to steal my money, fake a pregnancy, and try to take my home. But please, don't let me spoil the celebration. Noelle runs from the room sobbing. Trey follows, calling her name. Mary sits alone at her table, her social circle already dispersing with whispers and sideways glances. "That was brutal," Zoe says admiringly. "I'm not done." I check my watch. "In about 30 seconds? Right on cue, Darren walks in with a courier. "Mrs. Newman, legal documents for you to sign." I take the papers with a flourish, making sure Mary can see. The court order to freeze all accounts involved in the fraud investigation? Perfect timing. Mary finally breaks. "You can't do this. That money. I needed it for..." "For what?" I cross to her table. "The gambling debts? The failed investment schemes? Or the 20 years of bitterness because your son married someone you couldn't control?" She slaps me. The sound echoes through the now silent room. I don't flinch. "Thank you for that. Peter, did you get it on camera?" He emerges from behind a pillar, professional camera in hand. "Every second. Assault charges will look great in the court documents." I gather my purse. "Oh, and Mary? The country club board meets tomorrow. I sent them everything. The fraud evidence, the fake pregnancy scheme, this lovely assault video. Enjoy your last dinner here." Outside, Trey is arguing with Noelle in the parking lot. She's screaming about promises he made, money he guaranteed her. "Should we tell him about her ticket to Mexico?" Zoe asks. "The one she bought yesterday?" "No need." I watch as their relationship implodes in real time. Some things destroy themselves. My phone buzzes. Another update from Peter. "Found Mary's old diary. You won't believe what she wrote about your miscarriages." I forward it to Darren with a simple message. Use everything. Because if they thought today was bad, tomorrow would be worse. Much worse. "All rise," the bailiff announces. "Court is now in session." I smooth my charcoal gray suit and stand, watching Trey squirm at the defendant's table. Mary sits behind him, clutching her designer handbag like a shield. Noelle is conspicuously absent, probably still nursing her hangover from last night's social media meltdown. "Your Honor," Darren begins, "we're seeking immediate injunctive relief. The defendants have demonstrated a pattern of financial fraud and harassment." "Objection," Trey's lawyer interrupts. "These are simple domestic disputes being blown out of proportion." "Simple?" Darren raises an eyebrow. "Let's review the evidence, shall we?" He projects the first document. Bank transfers totaling over $200,000, made with forged signatures. Text messages planning a fraudulent pregnancy scheme. And this morning's edition, death threats from Mrs. Newman Sr. to my client. The judge leans forward. "Death threats?" "Play the recording," I whisper to Darren. Mary's voice fills the courtroom. "You'll regret this, Serenity. I know people who can make you disappear, just like we made your babies disappear." Gasps echo through the gallery. Trey's face goes ashen. "What is she talking about?" he demands, turning to his mother. Mary starts to respond, but Darren's already moving. "Your Honor, we have evidence that Mrs. Newman Sr. deliberately sabotaged my client's fertility treatments 20 years ago. Hospital records show she bribed a nurse to switch medications." The judge's gavel cracks like a gunshot. "Approach the bench, all of you, now." As the lawyers huddle with the judge, my phone vibrates. A text from Zoe. "Noelle just went live on Instagram. She's confessing everything." I pull up the stream. Noelle, mascara-streaked and clearly drunk, is sobbing into her phone. "Mary made me do it. She said if I helped destroy Serenity's marriage, she'd pay for my college. But she lied. They all lied." "Your Honor," Darren calls out, holding up his tablet. "You might want to see this." The next hour is a blur of legal terms and accusations. When the dust settles, the judge's ruling is clear. Full property rights to me, restraining orders against Mary and Noelle, and a freeze on all joint assets pending criminal investigation. "This isn't over," Mary hisses as I pass her in the hallway. Actually, it is. I hand her an envelope. "The country club board's decision. You're out. Oh, and your bridge club? They've seen everything, too. Good luck finding a fourth for your weekly game." Outside the courthouse, reporters are waiting. Trey tries to push past them, but I grab his arm. One more thing, I say loudly enough for the cameras to catch. Remember that charity gala you're hosting next week? The one to save your business reputation? His eyes narrow. What about it? Check your phone. He pulls it out, face falling as he reads the message from the venue. You got it canceled? Not canceled, transferred, to my company. I smile for the cameras. I'm hosting now. All your clients will be there. Should be interesting when I show them the proof of your embezzlement. You can't. I can. I did. And Mary? I turn to his mother, who's trying to slink away. Don't bother calling your country club friends for help. They're all coming to my party instead. Later that evening, I sit in my office with Eliana and Peter, reviewing the damage. Noelle's still streaming, Peter reports. She's named names, dates, everything. Mary's other victims are coming forward too. Seems you weren't the first family she tried to destroy. And Trey? I ask. His firm put him on leave pending investigation. Eliana grins. Turns out they don't like partners who commit fraud. My phone rings. It's Darren. You'll never believe what just landed in my inbox. Mary's been recording everything, keeping a digital diary. Someone just leaked it all to me. Someone? I glance at Zoe, who's quietly typing on her laptop in the corner. She shrugs. Mary should have been nicer to her housekeeper. Amazing what people will share for the right price. I pour champagne for everyone. Through my window, I can see movers emptying the guest house. Noelle's last belongings being carted away. To Karma, Eliana raises her glass. Not yet, I say, checking my phone one last time. We're not done. The gala's next week, and I've got one last surprise for them. Haven't they suffered enough? Zoe asks. I think of my lost babies, of 20 years of manipulation, of Mary's smug smile when she thought she'd won. No, I answer, not even close. The ballroom sparkles with 1,000 lights, exactly as I designed it. 300 of the city's elite mill around, sipping champagne and admiring the charity auction items I've curated. Every single one of Trey's former clients is here. They're coming, Eliana whispers, checking her phone. Mary just pulled up with Trey. And Noelle? Already inside, hiding by the bar. She looks terrible. I smooth my red designer gown, the one Trey always said was too bold, and take the stage. The microphone feels cool in my hand. Welcome, everyone, I begin. Tonight isn't just about raising money for children's cancer research. It's about truth, about justice. The doors burst open. Mary storms in, Trey trailing behind her like a lost puppy. They freeze when they see me on stage. Perfect timing, I continue. I was just about to share some interesting financial documents. You see, this charity event was supposed to be hosted by my ex-husband's firm, but they had to step down when they discovered something alarming. Don't you dare, Mary shouts. Security, please ensure Mrs. Newman stays for this part. 2 guards move to block the exits. Now where was I? Ah, yes, the fraud. I nod to Peter, who starts the presentation. Bank statements, transfer records, and damning emails flash across the giant screens. Over the past year, money meant for children's cancer treatment was diverted to private accounts belonging to Mary Newman and her accomplices. The crowd gasps. Phones come out, recording everything. That's a lie, Trey steps forward. You're making this up. Am I? I gesture to the side stage. Please welcome Thomas Reed, FBI Financial Crimes Division. A man in a dark suit steps forward, badge glinting. Mr. Newman, we've been investigating your mother's charity schemes for months. Ms. Newman here helped us connect the final dots. Mary crumples into a chair, her perfectly maintained facade finally cracking. Noelle emerges from her hiding spot, mascara already running. While we're here, I continue, let's discuss the fertility clinic records. Mary, would you like to explain why you paid a nurse to sabotage my treatments 20 years ago? Or should I play the confession she recorded for us? You bitch, Mary snarls. You've ruined everything. No, you did that yourself. By the way, Noelle, that trust fund Mary promised you, The one you betrayed your family for? It never existed. She's been bankrupt for years, running pyramid schemes through charity events just like this one. Noelle rushes the stage, but security catches her. "You promised!" she screams at Mary. "You promised me everything." "Take them," Agent Reed signals his team. They move in with handcuffs. "This is all your fault." Trey lunges toward me, but Peter intercepts him smoothly. "Assault on camera?" Peter tisks. "Not smart." I watch as they're led away, Mary shouting about lawyers, Trey begging his clients not to leave, Noelle sobbing about betrayal. The crowd parts like the Red Sea, phones recording every moment of their downfall. And now, I turn back to the audience. Let's focus on what really matters. Our children's hospital needs a new cancer ward. Who's ready to donate? The event raises record amounts. Every former client of Trey's pledges to my new design firm instead. By midnight, Mary's entire social circle has publicly denounced her. Later, as the last guests leave, Eliana finds me on the balcony. "That was brutal," she says admiringly. "Brilliant, but brutal. They deserved worse." I sip my champagne. "Did you see Peter's final report? About Mary's other victims? The other families she destroyed?" Eliana nods. "The FBI's building quite a case." My phone buzzes. A text from Zoe. "Noelle's been picked up by her parents. They're sending her to rehab in Arizona. She told the FBI everything." Another message follows, this one from Peter. "Found something in Mary's old records. There's one more secret you need to see." I forward it to Darren without opening it. Some truths can wait until morning. Through the ballroom windows, I watch the cleaning crew dismantling the event. Everything Trey and Mary built, every lie they told, every scheme they planned, all gone in a single night. "To new beginnings," Eliana raises her glass. "No," I correct her. "To karma." My phone lights up one last time, a message from an unknown number. "You think you've won? Watch your back. Some secrets stay buried." I delete it without responding. Let them threaten. Let them scheme. I'm not the same woman they tried to destroy. I'm so much worse. "Guilty on all counts," the judge's words echo through the courtroom. Mary's shoulders slump as the verdict is read. Fraud, conspiracy, financial crimes, the list goes on. Each charge adds years to her sentence. I sit in the back row, watching justice unfold. Trey pleaded out months ago, turning on his mother to save himself. Noelle's testimony from rehab sealed their fate. But I stayed to see Mary's face when her world finally crumbled. "Ms. Newman," the judge addresses me directly. "Would you like to make a victim impact statement?" I stand smoothing my skirt and approach the podium. Mary won't look at me. 20 years ago, this woman orchestrated the loss of my children. She bribed medical staff, falsified records, and watched me suffer through miscarriage after miscarriage. She smiled at my pain, plotted my destruction, and tried to steal everything I built. My voice stays steady. But she failed, because she never understood one thing. I'm not just a victim. I'm a survivor. Mary finally meets my eyes. I see fear there, real fear. "Your Honor, I don't want her money. I don't want restitution. I want her to live with what she's done, in prison, where she can't hurt anyone else's family." Outside the courthouse, reporters swarm. I give them nothing but a smile as Eliana guides me to the car. "Peter's waiting at the office," she says. "That final secret from Mary's records, it's big." In my newly expanded design firm's conference room, Peter spreads documents across the table. "Mary kept detailed records of everyone she destroyed," he explains, "including this woman, Angela. She was engaged to Trey before you." My hands shake as I read. Angela disappeared 30 years ago, allegedly moving abroad. But Mary's diary tells a different story. "She was pregnant," I whisper. "Mary drove her away, paid her off." There's more. Peter pulls up an email. "Angela's daughter just turned 29. She's been looking for her father." "Does Trey know?" "No." Mary buried it all. But here's the twist. Angela's daughter is a prosecutor. She helped build the case against Mary without knowing the connection. My phone buzzes, a text from Zoe. Noelle's doing better. She asked if you'd accept a letter. I set the phone down without responding. Some bridges stay burned. Eliana pours coffee, her engagement ring catching the light. Our new joint venture, a combination design firm and legal consultancy, takes up 3 floors now. What are you going to do about Angela's daughter? She asks. Nothing. I gather the documents. Mary's secrets died with her freedom. Let Trey live with his choices. A knock at my office door. It's Darren. Final paperwork from the divorce. And, he hesitates, Trey asked me to give you this. It's our old wedding photo, cracked down the middle. On the back, he's written, I'm sorry. I never deserved you. Too little, too late. I drop the photo in my shredder and turn to the wall of windows. My redesigned office overlooks the city where I rebuilt myself. Below, workers are installing the sign for our expanded company, Newman and Butler Design and Legal Services. Your next appointment's here, my assistant calls through the intercom. The Children's Hospital Board? Right. The new cancer ward, my first major project since the gala, funded entirely by donations from Trey's former clients. Ready? Eliana gathers her files. Almost. I open my desk drawer, touching the small silver frame hidden inside. My last ultrasound photo from 20 years ago. The baby Mary stole from me. I close the drawer without taking it out. Some pain you carry forward, letting it fuel you instead of break you. Ms. Newman? My assistant again. There's a young woman here, too. Says her name is Angela's daughter. I take a deep breath. Send them both in. Because that's the thing about karma. It doesn't just destroy. Sometimes it rebuilds, reconnects, restores. Coming, I call back, straightening my shoulders. Through the glass walls, I see her, young, professional, with Trey's eyes and Angela's smile. She clutches a folder of her own secrets, her own questions. I open my office door, extending my hand. Welcome. I think we have a lot to talk about. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction. It's living well, succeeding boldly, and helping others find their truth. They broke my heart. I rebuilt it with stone. But stone, I've learned, can also build bridges, just not to the past.